the station that brings you the Bulls, the Blackhawks, the White Sox, and the Sting. Sports Vision.
Cyclone Television Network Sports presents today's Iowa State football with Jim Walden. And today, from Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field on the campus of Iowa State University in Ames, Iowa, the Iowa State Cyclones play host to the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mark Matthew along with George Turner, and today we're going to see one of the greatest teams in college football history, the Oklahoma Sooners. They lead the nation in 4 categories.
Well, you're going to see one of the teams that's the best in the country. You might see the second best team in the country, too, because I think their second unit's every bit as good as their first. But they're big, they're powerful, they're fast, and the #1 rating is no fluke, believe me.
I'll tell you one thing that is unusual. This past week, Jim Walden said there is no way Iowa State can win this game. He went so far as to say, we cannot part the water.
Yeah, and I think he was speaking frankly, and with the number of people who he's down to, 52 or 53 scholarship players, and I think that he's just being realistic about it. I think he's going to try and make as interesting a game as he can out of it for the fans and allow the people that have come to the stadium today to have an opportunity to watch the #1 team and enjoy it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Jim Walden does want to see progress from his team all year long, and he does have to play the game today. We spoke with the coach moments ago and asked him what he wanted to see from his Cyclones today.
Well, I think what we're going to do is look and see if we've got some individuals who will challenge off, match up. We're going to see if we can, in fact, move the football a little bit on a very good football team. Just try to check the individuals out and see how well they play against a very good test. I think that's what our objective is today, to do what we can do individually.
Jim, on Tuesday of this week, you spoke out about some of the rules and regulations under which you feel you're at a disadvantage in the NCAA and in recruiting. You said that the NCAA needs a recovery program. Would you expound upon that?
Well, the NCAA has a very foolish rule, I think, in the fact that everybody in college football has a ceiling. We all can have 95 guys. So if everybody can have only 95, then why does everybody have to have a bottom line of 25? Certainly, every individual's and every institution's situations are different. So if the bottom line is to be equally to compete, 95 is what we all say is enough for everybody, then let's try to have a way to get 95. Everybody can have 95. The way to do that is be able to recruit. If I need 32 this year to get to 95, let me bring in 32. My attrition rate will always going to be greater than Nebraska's. So all I say to you is that when I go to the bank to get a loan, don't tell me how to spend it. And so in looking at the rules, 95 is the ceiling. Then why tell me how few I can bring in or how many I can bring in at the bottom? We're all equal. No one's asking for more. All I want is exactly the same. Right now, it'll take me 6 years under the present system to get to 95.
At the same time, some people may question, how do you punish then the rules breakers?
Well, don't let 90% of the people who are trying to do it right die because you're holding on to some little level of saying, hey, well, we use numbers as a way to punish you. If that being the case, wouldn't numbers be punishment in itself for the few who are doing it legal and don't have the numbers? By your own admission, not having enough players is a detriment to your program. So then find another way to punish is my answer, but don't keep punishing the innocent while you try to hold on to an absurdity of a rule to keep people from recovering as a way of disciplining in the NCAA. And besides that, if more teams had equal numbers, you might find the cheating would subside in a tremendous amount because people cheat for quality when they don't have quantity. You give more schools a chance to have equal amount of athletes, and you would find it, you would see quickly how quickly some of the cheating would end.
Back to today's game, Coach. You do have to play the #1 ranked Sooners, and you do have to have a game plan out here, and what is it?
It's going to be very precise. We're going to try to drive these people crazy offenses today by using the clock. We're going to be very precise. We're not going to do anything at any time under the structure. If it's 3rd and 11, we may run a dive. If it's 2nd and 1, we may run a takeoff. We're going to try to do everything we can to absolutely refuse to do anything that they want you to do so that they can attack you like a bunch of Pac-Man machinery, and they do it well. And so what we're going to try to do is use the clock, keep the ball, keep our defense off the field as much as possible, use the time, use formations, and use plays that don't have any consequence to the down and distance.
Oklahoma has won 53 of the last 59 meetings between these two teams, and the last time Iowa State beat Oklahoma was 26 years ago in 1981. This one could get out of hand. We expect it to. But when that happens, we're also going to be taking a look at some very talented individual athletes today.
Well, I would have to think so, and you look at both sides, but look at Jamel Holloway, who, if he was a T formation quarterback, he'd be a Heisman candidate. I think that the voters look at him as a running back. You look at Keith Jackson, the tight end, who is as good as there is, and maybe in the NFL, and I'm sure he'll walk right into that. It's just absolutely amazing. You look down the Oklahoma lineup, and you see a lot of talent there, and you look down the Iowa State lineup, you see guys like Dennis Ross, Marcus Robertson, who are stars of the future, and there's a lot of possibilities today.
We're going to see the #1 team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners, as they battle the Iowa State Cyclones. Next, right here at Cyclone Stadium and Jack Trice Field in Ames, Iowa. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment.
Jim Walden is brought to you by the Ames-Story County Cyclone Club. They're proud to support Jim Walden and the Cyclones and invite you to attend the regular Cyclone Club luncheon each Tuesday during the season at the Starlight Village, Ames. By the University Bookstore. The University Bookstore, official retail outlet for Iowa State University. Call for a free souvenir catalog, 515-294-5684.
I'm working my way up, making tomorrow a better day. Everyone has dreams, but mine are coming true. And you were always there to say, we believe in you, we're Bankers Trust. We believe in you, and the things you always work for. We're Bankers Trust, we believe in you.
There are people who say Americans don't build things the way we used to. That our products are victims of planned obsolescence, workers who don't care, and managers who have given up. Now there's a product that should put an end to that kind of talk. The Mega Truck from Ruan. To build it, Ruan created a task force of the best automotive minds in America. And we asked them to give us their best. To design and build parts that perform better and last longer than any others. The result is a truck so well engineered and so well built that it will actually run 1,000,000 miles. The Mega Truck, 1,000,000 miles or more from America's best.
It is a gorgeous day here at Cyclone Stadium and Jack Trice Field, and at game time, the temperature 54 degrees, clear skies, and the wind southwesterly at 12. And actually, it feels a little bit warmer than that if you're sitting in the sun today. And the series belongs to the Sooners, 53-4-2. And this is the 60th meeting between the Sooners and the Cyclones. And the Sooners have gone 25 straight games without a loss to the Cyclones. And let me correct something I said earlier. I said it's been 26 years since Iowa State won. That is correct. And I meant to say 1961, and I think I said 1981. But there is Jim Walden on the sideline, 10th year as a head coach, first year here at Iowa State. He's 44, 55, and 4 overall. And, of course, for the Oklahoma Sooners, Barry Switzer, one of the most highly successful coaches in college football, 140, 25, and 4. Iowa State has won the coin toss, and they have elected to receive. Oklahoma has taken what little wind there is, so Iowa State will be going into about a 10-mile-an-hour wind. Here's the kickoff. Iowa State with 2 deep backs, Ross and Bridges, and it is a touchback. It looked like Dennis Ross wanted to grab it and then shied away from it at the last moment.
I think his son got him.
And Iowa State will start out at their own 20. Here's the way Iowa State starts out today, and keep in mind that they have a lot of changes today because Jim Walden said he will not play any players that are nursing injuries. He'd rather save them for the remainder of the season when they have a chance to win. Tom Schulding will be on one side, Bush at the other. Derek DeGennaro will be the quarterback, and there he is, number 19. DeGennaro, 16 of 35 coming into the ball game. 3 interceptions, 209 yards, and completing 46% of his passes. Tight end shift from the left to the right is Mike Bush. Double slot right to the right side, and the dive right to Joe Henderson. And he gets maybe a yard, and it's going to be tough going against Oklahoma because, keep in mind, they have been allowing only 73 yards rushing per game this year. And defensively, here's the way they stack up. Dante Williams, the nose guard, made the stop.
You look across that defensive line. Well, the little guy is 225 at one of the ends, and they are extremely agile.
Split setbacks in the backfield. It's Nickerson to the far side, Henderson to the near side. Bridges in motion. The pitch to Henderson. And he is going to be dropped for a loss as a charging Oklahoma Sooner defense by Darrell Reed makes the stop behind the line of scrimmage. So it will be a loss of about 2 or 3. And it brings up 3rd down and 11.
Watch the movement of the Oklahoma players. You see that the speed is there. They recruit speed, and they are a great area to recruit speed, recruiting Oklahoma and Texas extensively, and then with the reputation they have almost all over the country.
Ball will be spotted back on the 20-yard line, so it is 3rd and 11. Last week, Iowa State lost to Wyoming. Big play, DeGennaro sacked back at the 12. And Darrell Reed, the left defensive end of Oklahoma, with 2 sensational plays here on the first Iowa State possession. And Iowa State, buried deep in their own territory, will have to punt away the football. They will spot it down at the 13-yard line, and Judge Johnston, in to do the punting, will be punting from his own goal line. Back deep to receive for the Sooners will be number 33, Patrick Collins, and number 29, Ricky Dixon. Johnston averaging 38.9 yards per boot. This one's a good one. Fair catch called for. And Patrick Collins downs it at the Iowa State 48-yard line. So it is officially about a 33-yard punt into the wind. And Oklahoma will start out with a wishbone. It will be Jamel Holloway at quarterback. And the running backs for Oklahoma will be Patrick Collins, Lydell Carr, and Anthony Stafford. Carr will be the fullback. And now Collins goes in motion, split wide to the right. And the handoff goes to Stafford. He tries the right end, and Iowa State does a formidable job stopping Stafford after a gain of 2. He gets up to about the 45-yard line, and Jeff Dole, the strong safety, comes up to make the hit. Defensively for Iowa State, they are playing without their middle linebacker, Chris Moore. And there are some of the standouts for Iowa State this week. Stoniak, Benson, Byrne, and Dabney up front. 2nd down and 7. A gain of 3 on the first play from scrimmage. This time, Lydell Carr. Quick hitter off right tackle, and Oklahoma has enough for the first down. Up to the 35-yard line, Anthony Hoskins, the weak outside linebacker, makes the stop. Carr carried 32 times thus far this year, averaging 6.4 yards a carry, and he has 3 touchdowns.
Averages for the Oklahoma running backs. The least good running average is Jamel Holloway, averaging 5.6. Everybody else is up over 6.
1st and 10 at the 35. And here's a miscue in the backfield, and let's see, is it a fumble or not? Randy Byrne makes the play for Iowa State. And it is a loss. Back to the 38-yard line.
See Byrne just across the middle. The ball was dropped. Holloway fell on it. A good play by Randy Byrne, who is a young player from Spencer, 6'3", 258-pound sophomore that we'll expect great things out of here at Iowa State.
Receiver split to both sides. 2nd down and 12 on the 37-yard line. Keeper by Holloway. Pitches it out at the last moment to Stafford. And he gets up across the 30. He will be short of the first down. They will spot it down at the 29-yard line, and the tackle made by Lopi Williams, the left cornerback.
Watch the containment right there. Good play, but again, that speed will kill you. Randy Richards, the 6th-year linebacker from Urbandale. made the tackle, helped made the tackle, made a good play, forced Holloway to make the pitch.
Now there's an interesting stat, averaging 9.7 yards a carry. Anthony Stafford. 3rd and 4. Stafford. And the Cyclones may have held. Anthony Hoskins first to hit Stafford. And now it's going to be 4th and about 1 or 2. Let's see if Barry Switzer wants to go for it or tack 3 on. And they're going to go for it. R.D. Lasher is the field goal kicker, place kicker for Oklahoma. He's only made 2 attempts this entire year in 3 games. 4th and 2 at the 27. Lydell Carr, no, Holloway. This time kicks it out to Collins. He turns the corner and has the first down. Rolled down at about the 16-yard line. Tom Stoniak chases him out of bounds. So Oklahoma gambles on 4th down, and they make it by a wide margin.
Just watch the defensive player that's in charge of the quarterback. You watch the play that he makes right there. Makes a good stop on the quarterback, but watch the difference in speed right here. See, trying to get outside is Randy Byrne to cover Patrick Collins, and they're just not much there. Maybe a little more penetration by the right tackle might have stopped the play.
1st and 10 on the 14. Holloway out to Collins again. He's got a wide open alley touchdown. And the Oklahoma Sooners need less than 5 minutes in this ball game to put the first points on the board. Patrick Collins.
Take a look right here. Fake to the 45, and there's the block outside. Push the man out of bounds, and Collins just runs to the corner pylon. Let's watch the quarterback now. Makes a pretty good fake. Takes a step away. Makes the fake to 45. Lydell Carr. Then makes the pitch outside and sets up the play. Collins is in untouched.
R.D. Lasher on with the point after. It is up, and it is good. Lasher, 21 of 22 coming into today's ball game. So we have 10 minutes, 2 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter, and Oklahoma is already on the board, leading 7-0.
Sports Vision's coverage of NCAA football is brought to you in part by the Chicago Sun-Times. We've got Chicago covered.
Just as you're starting to live, multiple sclerosis can strike. The National MS Society helps people with MS to get around, to get jobs, and get on with their lives. And they're going all out to find a cure. Please, don't turn your back on them.
Cash in the market is the name of the game from Chicago Sun-Times and TWA. Come on, get in on the action. Believe us when we say there's no quicker satisfaction. Playing is as easy as the money you win to do be.
To cash in on Cash in the Market, look for details in Sunday Sun-Times.
Get rich by the money, make money every day. Cash in the market, Chicago Sun-Times, TWA.
It's 7-0 Oklahoma. 10:02 remaining to be played in the first quarter. And Oklahoma enters today's game with 12 consecutive wins, currently the longest streak in the nation. The Sooners rank first nationally in rushing offense, total offense, scoring, and scoring defense. Last week, Oklahoma routed Tulsa 65-0, and Jamel Holloway scored 4 touchdowns in that game.
One comment, Mark, if they are the #1 team in the nation, they should be leading all those categories with the people that they've played. They haven't played really anybody yet that is one of the rated teams.
And that concerns Barry Switzer. He says we need a stiff test. Thompson's kickoff sails down to Eddie Bridges at the 4. Across the 20 and upended him at the 24-yard line. So a good return for Eddie Bridges. Scott Garl makes the tackle on Bridges. Iowa State starting out at their own 24-yard line in the Oklahoma Sooners scoring drive, covering 48 yards in just 7 plays, 2 minutes 55 seconds, and Patrick Collins 15 yards for the TD. Derek DeGennaro comes back on the quarterback. Iowa State, their starting quarterback, Brett Sadek, out nursing a muscle pull. John Glatfeldy, who is only a freshman, may see some action today. Bush, the tight end, goes in motion. Here's Henderson trying to turn the corner on the left side, and not much there. And there won't be much there all day. Kurt Casper, the linebacker, makes the hit on Henderson.
It's a play that started out going to be a wide play to the left, and Henderson made the cutback. Goes left, now looks back, sees what he thinks is a hole, but you notice how quickly it fills. That number 40 coming across the screen is a defensive left end. He'd already been in the backfield and came back to make the play at about the center position, or help make the play.
Second down and 8. Iowa State with a gain of 2. If they make a first down today, they'll be making some achievement. Here's the fake to Henderson, and DeGennaro is sacked from behind. And it's going to be Darrell Reed again, the defensive end for Oklahoma. He was in on DeGennaro before he could find anyone in his sights. Reed with 3 exceptional plays already today. And Jim Walden knew it was going to be a long afternoon.
A loss of 8 yards on the play.
Talked to him before the game, and Keith Sims has not played. Probably won't play or won't play today. It isn't even suited up, but Keith Sims has a real problem with the turf toe. He cannot push straight ahead off of the foot. He just has to kind of drag the right foot, and Jim Walden is real concerned about the status of him for the rest of the year.
Iowa State going with 4 wide receivers, 1 single setback. Here's the draw to Henderson. Henderson gets some good yardage, but not nearly enough for the first down. Back to about the original line of scrimmage, and then maybe a yard or 2 more. David Vickers, the strong safety, comes up and stops Henderson.
Notice a good move by Henderson. Good deception. They had 3 wide receivers and a man in motion to the left side, to the right side. Henderson came back to the weak side, but the pursuit of Oklahoma, they just have great team speed all over, every place.
Judge Johnston on the punt. 4th and 9 for Iowa State. Jim Walden also said before the game that whatever was predictable, the Cyclones would do the reverse. He said, we may do a fullback dive on 3rd and 11. The only chance we have is to keep Oklahoma off guard. Here's a fumble punt and recovered by Iowa State at midfield. It bounces off of Ricky Dixon. And the Cyclones' John Glotfeldy on the specialty teams comes up with a fumble recovery.
Take a look at Collins on this. Misjudged it considerably. Now it hit the helmet first, then the hands. That was Dixon. And right in there is John Glotfeldy. Now that's something that you're probably not going to see a lot of from here on. If Glotfeldy gets in to play some quarterback, he'll go off of that special team, I would guess.
So Iowa State will take over 1st and 10 at the Oklahoma 49. And a little conference there between Derek DeGennaro and Jim Walden. Now the 25-second clock is winding down. There's only 9 seconds left to get the snap off before delay of game is called. Let's see if the Cyclones can set it up. 3, 2, 1. They barely managed to get it off, and it's straight ahead to Henderson. And Henderson with a little power inside to about the 45. Henderson comes into the ball game 289 yards on 72 carries this year, averaging 4 yards a carry. Darren Kilpatrick, the defensive tackle, made the stop for the Sooners. And there's Barry Switzer, the nation's winningest coach. 84.8% victory. Good man. 7 minutes, 5 seconds left to play first quarter. Oklahoma leading Iowa State 7-0. 2nd down and 8 for the Cyclones on the Sooner 46. Trips formation. DeGennaro trying to find some room to throw it. Unloads it long downfield. And it is incomplete. He was out of bounds. But was he forced out? Tom Schulting was the receiver who went high in the air.
Good play by DeGennaro on the rollout.
And unlike the professional ranks, it makes no difference if you're forced out of bounds or not. He came down out of bounds. Ken McMichael, the backup strong safety for the Sooners, provided the coverage on Schulting. Well, the local fans had something to cheer about there for a moment, George.
Yeah. Good play. Looked like a straight drop back. Then DeGennaro rolled out, got away from the defensive charge of Oklahoma. Had good time and passed right on target.
Henderson in motion, trips formation left again, and DeGennaro won't have time to unload it. He was down. The ball comes out loose, but DeGennaro definitely down. And this time it was the right defensive end, Troy Johnson, charging through to make the tackle.
I think this was a play designed to go to the right side and a quick pass, but when you practice against it, you practice against players that don't move this fast. And as a result, you don't realize how quickly the Oklahoma players can get in on you on defense, and you just can't prepare for it.
Keep in mind that Iowa State has had the ball 3 times now, and they have been forced to punt 3 times, and on each occasion, they have been punting deeper than where they got the ball in the first place. They have lost yardage on each possession. Judge Johnston getting some pressure, but hangs one high. This time, Collins fair catches at the 19. So the Sooners will take over at their own 19-yard line with 5 minutes, 59 seconds left to play in the first quarter. And thus far, it has been all Oklahoma as they lead Iowa State 7-0. We'll be back to Ames, Iowa in just a moment.
Don't you hate people who brag? Me too. But facts are facts. O'Connor Ford simply offers car buyers much more. Like hundreds upon hundreds of used cars like these, and these, and these from just $588. And every one of them is ownable in a snap.
New or used, cars and trucks, 5-minute financing, award-winning service, no money down leasing.
O'Connor Ford has it.
If anyone can, O'Connor can.
O'Connor Ford, 2600 West 95th.
No place in the country has a more illustrious tradition than we do here at Notre Dame. And this year, something special as we'll celebrate our 100th year of college football. Please join me, Lou Holtz, right here on Sports Vision every Sunday night for the Lou Holtz Show as we examine last week's game, look at the upcoming opponent, and examine some aspects of this great university. Sure hope you'll join us right here on Sports Vision every Sunday night.
The Lou Holtz Show every Sunday night at 6:30 with an encore presentation every Friday night.
Back at Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field in Ames, Iowa, and Iowa State University hosting the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. And Oklahoma with 7 on the board already. 5:59 remains to be played in the first quarter. And Jim Walden, the new head coach at Iowa State, talking with Norm Anderson, who comes from UCLA, last stop on his coaching resume. He is the running back coach for Iowa State. And there's Barry Switzer. And in the national polls, the Sooners are ranked first in every poll this week. Barry Switzer against Iowa State, 13-0-1. And that one tie came against his athletic director, Donnie Duncan. And it probably should have been a win. They missed a chip shot field goal attempt with time running down, but the game ended in a draw. 7-0 Oklahoma. And Oklahoma showing a single back formation now. The handoff straight ahead. Lionel Carr, the fullback. And he gets about 3 or 4. Straight up the middle. Powerful running back. 6'2", 225-pound senior. And a good job by the defensive tackle.
Well, just a basic handoff. Good play by the defensive tackle and also by the defensive end. Good work by the Cyclones to stop the play, but still a 4-yard gain, or almost 5.
Second down and 6 officially. And this time they're lining up in the I formation. Here's the fake to Carr, and then they kick it out to Stafford. And look at the afterburner. Finally, Jeff Dole catches up with Stafford, but not before he gathers up a first down across the 35.
Back on the play by Iowa State, Jeff Dole.
Stafford came back a little bit worked up and had a little chat with Holloway. I don't know what that was about. Maybe something about make the pitch quicker or something. Who knows?
Stafford, quick. Ooh. First and 10 at the 38. Holloway acts like he wants to throw it, then tucks it away. And dragged down from behind by Jeff Dole as he crosses the 45, and a flag goes down. And we may have a spear out there on number 27 here. Personal foul. Yep. Ray Carruthers using the helmet. in an inappropriate fashion. Here are the officials today. Dean Kramer is the referee. And all of those gentlemen from the Big 8 Conference, of course, as this is the first Big 8 game of the season.
Watch 88 Stoniak, the defensive end. Tries to make a pretty good play. Can't get it done, and we had a pretty good rerun there, but one of those things, technical, a little machine went out on us, didn't want to participate.
Referee Dean Kramer in the Big 8 is from Fort Dodge. The back judge, Virgil Deering's from Des Moines. Carr right up the middle. And another gain of about 6 up to the 30-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and 4. Getting up from the bottom of the pile. Robert Dabney.
Take a look at this, and I think that on this you'll see them. They kind of allow that man to get in right there on the quarterback, and that just makes it a little easier to block. One less guy to worry about, and they figure the handoff's going to be gone before number 58, Scott Benson, can get to the play.
John Phillips a little bit shaken up down on the field for Oklahoma. He's being assisted off right now, but apparently okay. Lydell Carr, as you saw his stats today. 2nd down and 4 at the Iowa State 30. Wishbone formation. Holloway with a keeper.
Holloway, the ball carried.
Chased out of bounds from behind at about the 19. And that will be another Oklahoma.
Back on the play by Robert Dabney.
Robert Dabney gets credit for the stop.
A 12-yard on the play for Oklahoma.
It's blown away. It's on by Oklahoma. Well, they get so many blockers in the area where the guy's going to run. A lot of it is deception, but there's also a lot of people around where the ball carrier is. Sometimes it looks like they have a crowd running at you.
3 carries, 20 yards for Holloway thus far today. This time, quick handoff to Lydell Carr, the fullback, across the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. Anthony Hoskins wraps him up. And it'll be about 5 shy of the first down. Short 5. 3 minutes, 50 seconds and counting to play in the first quarter.
Pick up of 4 yards. 2nd and 6 for Oklahoma at the Iowa State 14.
Holloway. Then pitches out late to Stafford. And he is just out of bounds. Well, they say touchdown now. I guess he got a foot in. The side judge says touchdown. So Oklahoma continues the scoring attack here and lead 13-0.
Quick pitch goes out, and the pitch is made after Holloway gets by the line of scrimmage. And Stafford sneaks in just inside the pylon. Lacer will try the extra point.
And the kick is up and good. So we have 3 minutes, 25 seconds left to play in the first quarter, and Oklahoma wastes little time. They already lead 14-0. And Jim Walden said this past week, this game could be as lopsided as Barry Switzer will allow it. He says we have no chance against the Oklahoma Sooners, and something you don't often hear from a coach. He'll say, well, we'll do our best, or maybe if we get the breaks, we can win it. But Jim Walden took all guesswork out of it this week.
And you have to look at it this way, too. It's coming from really one of the great optimists that I've been around. The guy in his talk to people and everything, and in his years of coaching at Washington State, he has been an optimist, has done marvelous things with, at times, inadequate talent. But right now he is blessed with inadequate talent playing the #1 team in the nation, and chatting with some people from Oklahoma and some people that really know football well. It's a situation where the second team might be as good as the first. There's a look at the scoring drive. 7 plays, 80 yards, 234, and a 14-yard run again. That's 2 14-yard runs. One by one halfback, one by the other.
Next week, the Oklahoma Sooners will have their annual rivalry against the Texas Longhorns. And the Iowa State Cyclones will return here to Cyclone Stadium for an intrastate rivalry against the Panthers of Northern Iowa. And that could be a big game.
I think it's a game that Coach Walden has a possibility of winning, and they're going to try and play well.
Thompson drills this one into the end zone. Bridges downs it about 5 yards back of the end line there, so it'll be a touchback. Iowa State will start over at their own 20-yard line, trailing 14-0, 3:25 to go in the first. Derek DeGeneiro has quarterbacked the entire way thus far today. We have not seen John Glatfelder as yet. Don't forget, join us each and every week along most of these same Cyclone Television Network stations for the Jim Walden Show. Check your local listings for time and channel. Jim will talk about this week's game and look ahead to the next opponent and share with you some of the insight of Cyclone Football 87. Single setback is Henderson. He'll get the call straight away, center, and about a 3-yard gain before Darrell Reed and Scott Evans combined on the tackle. Gain of 3 on the play brings up 2nd down and 7.
Gain of 3 yards sets up a 2nd and 7 to Iowa State, and it's all 23.
Donnie Duncan was interviewed just before the game for another television station. He said he was trying to draw some comparisons about coaching here and now being athletic director at Oklahoma. He said at Iowa State, he said you can recruit talent. He said, but it's extremely difficult to recruit the type of speed necessary to be a national champion. Edwin Jones, a freshman from Los Angeles, gets the call. And Jones gets a tough couple up to about the 25, 26-yard line.
Edwin Jones, a talented young man from Lakeview Terrace, California. They expect big things from him, just a freshman. And what a baptism to come out against the #1 team. Broke 1 tackle on the last play, and good-looking runner. I think they're quite high on him. He was injured in preseason, spent most of the two-a-days running the stadium steps trying to get back in shape, and didn't really get a lot of repetitions, but they worked him into the program, and they think he's going to be a pretty good running back.
We'll see if Iowa State can get a first down today. It's 3rd down and 4 right here. Motion to the right side with Jones. Delay handoff to Henderson. Falls forward, and he is a yard short. Needed to get to the 30, and he made it to the 29. Troy Johnson, the defensive end, makes the stop. Jim Walden sending the punting unit on.
Battle on the play by number 99, Tony Wood.
Of course, remember, Iowa State still runs it with a quarterback, 2 receivers, and 2 running backs in there. And they have been quite successful with this play. They can pass off of it, run off of it, do whatever.
There are the numbers today on Judge Johnston, averaging 33 yards into a stiff wind. Collins and Dixon back deep to receive. Long count, 25-second clock, down to 1 before the snap. Johnston, a sort of a Shanks punt, and it takes an Iowa State roll. It's going to be a dandy one for statisticians. Rolls dead down at the 31-yard line. So a boomer for Judge Johnston, 39-yarder. And Oklahoma takes over with 1 minute, 1 second left to play in the first quarter.
For the explosive Oklahoma offense, it doesn't make any difference where you put them. That's the biggest problem, is that the speed is a great neutralizer. Mark commented that it's hard to recruit speed in Iowa. Well, a few winning seasons, and that'll help.
Holloway on the option. Still going. And cut from behind. Fumbled! And Oklahoma recovers. Holloway caught off guard from behind, had the ball stripped out of his grasp, but he fell on it. And the Sooners retain possession at the 37.
This was good defensive play by the Cyclones. They made Holloway keep the ball. They just take him right down the line of scrimmage. You see, there's no place he can go to make the curve. The pitch man is covered. Jeff Dole, and Dole makes the play from behind. And Holloway falls right on the football to keep possession. Pickup of about 6 or 7.
Well, that's twice today. Holloway has recovered his own fumble. This time, first pass of the day for Oklahoma, and well overthrown. Intended for Keith Jackson, the big tight end over on the left side. And that one, I don't think the Coach Switzer even could have caught over there. Well overthrown.
Keith Jackson, one of the premier tight ends, 6'3", 242, and he says, if he gets behind you, no one will catch me. He has caught 5 passes this year for an average of 32.2 per catch.
3rd down and 4. Ball on the 37. Holloway kicks it out. One man to beat. And a good defensive job by Hugh Suffren.
To stop the wishbone, it's a team-oriented thing. You have to pick up there's a quarterback. Right there's a defensive back to pick up the man with a pitch. And you just have to play everybody as pretty much as an individual. Everybody's responsible for somebody. One guy breaks down, gone, disappears.
First and 10 at the 42. Play action fake. And Holloway going long and just overthrows his intended receiver. Intended downfield for Arthur Guess, a 5'11", 175-pound freshman. Guess with 1 reception thus far this year, and boy, he would have had daylight on that one. If it would have been just a little bit shorter.
Watch the receiver on that. And when the pass was thrown, he and the defensive back were about even. But the difference in speed, he's gone. He had a 5-yard cushion by the time the pass arrived.
11 seconds left to play in the first quarter. I formation. Holloway decides to keep it, turns upfield, gets to the 50. And that will run out the clock for the first period. Anthony Hoskins makes the tackle. So we're at the end of 1 here at Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field in Ames, Iowa. And the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners have already forged out a 14-0 lead.
Jim Walden. Jim Walden is brought to you by National Car Rentals. National Car Rentals, Des Moines, Iowa. By Drug Mart, Iowa's finest pharmacies. 7 locations, Carlisle, Perry, West Des Moines, and 4 locations in Des Moines. By Sesford Construction Company, LeGrand, Iowa, serving the state of Iowa with quality paving materials for over 20 years.
Belonging. It's a commitment to a lifetime of caring and sharing. A commitment to raising a family, giving guidance, patience, and love. It's a commitment to caring. Showing the way, making things easier. That's the commitment of the Farm Bureau family, too. The commitment to provide strength and security for your family, your home, your life. Farm Bureau, where belonging makes a difference.
Hello, I'm Dick Van Dyke. A very young member of my family died of a disease I'd never heard of, Rye's syndrome. I'd like to help prevent that from happening to anyone else. So if you have the flu, chicken pox, or other viral infections, don't use aspirin or products that contain aspirin. Research has shown a link between the use of aspirin and the development of Rye's syndrome. Knowing this could save you or your child's life. For more information, contact National Rye's Syndrome Foundation, 1-800-233-7393.
Maybe you heard just a little crack is okay. Maybe you heard cocaine can't really hurt you. Well, you heard wrong. There's no home run on cocaine. You get me? Are you listening? Just a little bit of crack or cocaine can be addictive or even kill you. That's the real truth. The lie is, it's the other guy who's going to die.
Cocaine, the big lie. Call 1-800-662-HELP.
Well, we're ready with the start of the second quarter here at Ames, Iowa. Oklahoma leading 14-0, and now a quick look at that last play, and we'll tell you why Oklahoma is so successful.
Watch Holloway. He'll go out to the right side and watch the back come behind him. Right there, making the pursuit, and watch this. Just turns it on and goes by him, has to kind of slow down a little bit. The man does finally catch him and get involved in the play, but that speed.
Well, we're ready with the start of the second quarter here at Ames, Iowa. Oklahoma leading 14-0, and now a quick look at that last play, and we'll tell you why Oklahoma is so successful.
Watch Holloway. He'll go out to the right side and watch the back come behind him. Right there, making the pursuit, and watch this. Just turns it on and goes by him, has to kind of slow down a little bit. The man does finally catch him and get involved in the play, but that speed is just very, very difficult to counteract. You just can't do anything about it.
Oklahoma using a lot of substitutes right here now. Here's Holloway. And this time he kicks it out to Eric Mitchell. 6'1", 200-pound junior from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Last year, Mitchell was the backup quarterback. And now, because they have Charles Thompson on the roster, they have converted Mitchell into a running back. And you can see that he's been a successful one also, averaging 6.3 yards a carry.
And last year as a backup quarterback, he was just like the running back. You notice the wishbone. They'll throw occasionally, but being a great thrower is not required.
Rodney Anderson has come in at fullback, and a little misdirection. Around. And there's Keith Jackson, the tight end, ending up the ball carrier. Lopey Williams chases him out of bounds.
And even with the mix-up in the backfield, they pick up about 15 or 16 yards for their 9th first down of the game. Mitchell got in the way, and there was a collision. You watch. See, Mitchell made the wrong move, and now he's out of the play. And now look at white jerseys. And right there, Lopey Williams comes in to make the play. A little bit of a late hit.
First down on the Cyclone 32. Hand off straight away to Anderson. And he's met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Cyclones, led by Matthew Rayburn, 6'5", 220-pound freshman, number 95.
Good defensive play. See him come right off the block, step inside, make the contact, and then there's a host of Iowa State tacklers there to join in.
No gain on the play. Second down and 10 on the 32. Holloway tucks it away, and he has big yardage. First down and then some. Rolled out of bounds at about the 17 by Ray Crothers.
Watch the deception on the play. Watch the man. There's a fake to the middle guy, and he's hammered. Right there, a great block on Stoniak. Now, no red jerseys around, and it's Holloway carrying the football like a loaf of bread, like Oklahoma quarterbacks have done for years. And Carruthers finally makes the play to get him out of bounds. I have a 10 first downs to zip for Oklahoma.
Holloway wants to air it out. There's a little flare pass out to Damon Stell, and Stell fights forward for some yardage. Carruthers again providing the coverage, but Stell will be marked down at about the 13.5. Make it the 12.5. 13 minutes, 46 seconds left to play first half. 14-zip Oklahoma. And the Sooners knocking on the Cyclone door once again. Holloway keeps it and pitches at the last moment out to Eric Mitchell. And Mitchell run out of bounds at about the 5.
Oh, and they do make that pitch just at the moment of contact. Oklahoma's had a reputation in the past of throwing the football on the ground a lot, but I think that what's happened over the years is with their first and second units about even is that the guys know that if they put the football on the ground, they are going to get to sit on the bench and watch. There's too many good players there, and they're a little more careful with the football.
Well, now Iowa State wants to take time out. And there's a good look at Jamel Holloway. 5'9", 180-pound junior, and he's going to be talking to the coaches upstairs. Usually a young man comes over, he talks to the head coach a little bit, but not at Oklahoma. They talk upstairs.
Barry pretty much stays on the sideline, and let's face it, he's the final decision, but The game plan is in. The offensive people handle that aspect of it. The defensive people handle the other side of it. I'm sure that he is involved in every decision that's made, but there's Barry Switzer looking at taking a look at things. 1 year, a few years ago, Oklahoma and the press guide had their coaching staff lined up, and it looked like most teams. I think there were 27 of them, full-time and part-time coaches. I don't think they can do that now, but there's a lot of guys involved.
On the other side of the field, Jim Walden, he doesn't even have the headphones on. Maybe he just thinks it won't do much good. And here's the rushing stats today. 22 carries, 139 yards for the Sooners. Iowa State, 11 carries and a -1. Last year, I think, when Oklahoma met Iowa State, I think Iowa State ended up with something like 63 or 67 yards of total offense against the Sooners.
On a rather cold, wet day.
First and goal at the 5. Holloway, touchdown.
Just the basic dive play, the option, and Holloway's all alone. Lope Williams has to cover the pitch man, and defensive man up, taken out of the play, and that just opens it. If the defensive back is taken out, quarterback keeps the ball and literally just walks into the end zone.
Lasher on to attempt the point after once again. It's up, and it's good. So, with 13:38 to play in the first half, the Sooners blowing open a 21-point lead.
King Nissan, #1 in sales, now has the nation's most modern service facilities. King Nissan is now bigger to serve you better. Your car will be serviced by factory-trained technicians utilizing the most modern equipment available to serve you better. King Nissan's new service hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Nobody gives you better service, and nobody sells Nissans for less. King Nissan, your home of king-size discounts with savings of up to $4,000. Payments as low as $100 per month on a new Sentra. Special 2.9% financing on selected trucks. Ray Harris, new King Nissan, home of king-size service and king-size discounts. 5757 West 2 East, still in Niles.
Each week, Sports Vision keeps the bases covered in today's Major League Baseball action with the Pennant Chase. Fran Healy hosts this weekly look at who's hot and who's not on and off the diamond. Features, highlights, and unusual moments that make baseball America's summer pastime. Plus, there's interviews with the stars of the game. It's a comprehensive look at the divisional races as the top teams steam toward the American and National League championships. Catch the Pennant Chase this week on Sports Vision, Chicago's winners on cable.
13 minutes, 38 seconds left to play here at Cyclone Stadium in the first half. And Oklahoma with 21 on the board now. 7 plays, 79 yards. And it doesn't take long for the Sooner Express. Thompson getting set to kick off. And Iowa State will have Dennis Ross and Eddie Bridges back deep to receive. Even though the wind is at the Cyclones' back here in the second quarter, it really hasn't made a great deal of difference. Ross draws a beat on it at the 7 and then drops it. Picks it up, tries to recover, and loses 3 more. Lonnie Finch gets credit for the tackle. And Iowa State starting out with their backs to the wall, the deepest they have started out all day at their own 5-yard line.
Tough spot to be in and against the #1 team in the country.
DeGennaro wants to throw. And he unloads it just in time to avoid the safety. Intended for Paul Thibodeau, who was out there coming out of the backfield.
Primary receiver was down the right side. I believe it might have been Schulding. And good coverage by the Oklahoma defensive secondary. They have a little fella out there, 6'4", 198-pound senior named David Vickers, wears number 10. That's just a superb player. plus a lot of others in the supporting cast, but he's a big one.
Mahoney in motion to the right side. Henderson dives over right tackle and gets a tough 2 or 3. Frank Blevins, the linebacker, makes the tackle. Iowa State moves the ball out to about the 8-yard line.
Henderson, the ball carrier. Picks up 3 yards on the play. That sets up a 3rd and 7 for the Cyclones at their own 8-yard line.
Tom Schulding comes back in for Iowa State. Mahoney goes out. Split set. 3rd and 7. DeGennaro to let it fly. And it's tipped. Deflected downfield by Kurt Casper. The linebacker got a hand on it and batted it high in the air, and it sails out of bounds. Intended for Schulding.
Intended for Schulding, and Eddie Bridges was running the sideline. The ball was deflected. You notice right there, it's tipped up in the air, but Bridges all by himself couldn't get to it. Good defensive play, and that's a good size in that defensive backfield. Lonnie Finch at 6'3" and Vickers at 6'4". Big fellas.
Johnston now putting out of his own end zone. Oklahoma, 2 men deep to receive. Letting the 25-second clock run down a little bit. Here's the punt by Johnston, and a good one. Fielded by Charles Thompson. Thompson rolled down at about the 36. Now Thompson is the backup quarterback to Jamel Holloway, and he's also a punt returner. Does that tell you anything about his talent and speed? May have a clip on the play now. See if there's a flag down. Yep.
Tackle made by John Smith, who is the deep snapper and has been for a number of years. 6'2", 261-pound senior that doesn't really get much action except on extra points and field goals, but a clip against Lonnie Finch.
That'll set Oklahoma back a few, and they'll spot the ball down now at the 31. So a break for Iowa State. Twelve and a half minutes to play in the first half. Barry Switzer looks on. Sooners next week will have the annual challenge of meeting the Longhorns of Texas. And that one will take place down in the Cotton Bowl. Here's Holloway. And he gets away from everybody. They had him wrapped up, and he escapes. Finally dragged down at about the 41, 42-yard line, and it may be enough for a first down. Randy Byrne finally caught up with Holloway, and I think it's going to be a first down.
There's a case of, now watch this, the strength. He just gets loose right here. Benson had him, just gave him a little shove, and Holloway with the strength is out of there. Now makes a great move right here to go inside. Carrying the football a little suspect, but keeps a hold. Looks like he had a hold of the Iowa State defender's face mask. That could be a face mask the opposite way. I don't think I've ever seen that call.
51 yards on the day for Holloway. Right up the middle to Lydell Carr, and he's going to have another first down and maybe a whole lot more. Headed down the sideline and finally dumped at about the 28-yard line. What a big gallop for Lydell Carr. Marcus Robertson finally over there to make the stop. Robertson, the freshman from Los Angeles, who didn't play last week because he's been nursing an injury, and he's back in there now. In place of Lopey Williams.
Del Carr at the end of that run looked a little bit tired. I don't think he's been used to running that far.
Here's a rollout by Holloway, throwing upfield and long, and it is in and out of the hands of Keith Jackson, and what a smack Jeff Dole put on it.
Boy, good pop by Dole.
It was intended for Eric Bross, not Keith Jackson.
Good protection. Little wobbler. Goes out. Goes up high in the air, and the ball was loose, but a good hit by Dole to separate receiver from football.
Jeff Dole, a walk-on from Grundy Center, now a scholarship player, but came here as an unexpected budding star and has really blossomed into a good player. This time, Holloway wants to go airborne. It's batted down by Scott Benson at the line of scrimmage.
And good pressure that time by the Cyclones. They had 3 men coming on the intended pass. Good coverage downfield, and Benson there to knock it down.
Holloway not known for his passing. Only 1 of 5 today for 3 yards. 3rd down and 10, and that's something you haven't seen on the Sooners very often this year. 3rd and 10.
Pass or run?
Only their third down conversion of the day. Holloway wants to pass over the middle, and it's complete. 1st down. Inside the 10 at the 9-yard line, and complete to Eric Bross, the split end, 6'2", 190-pounder from Houston, Texas.
Look at the good protection. See Benson not even close. Downfield. Good reception, and Carruthers there to make the play out of bounds, but goes for the completion. 1st and goal inside the 10 at the 9.
Roll out. Holloway throwing for it. Touchdown. Keith Jackson, the tight end. 27-0.
Can't see Jackson. This but just a quick release off the end. Holloway rolls out, and there's nobody there. Jackson all alone in the end zone. See Jackson just off the screen, number 88. Holloway rolls out and just flops it up in the air to be sure that he doesn't overthrow it. Let Jackson run under it.
Last year's point after is good. So we have 11 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the 1st half. On what may become a real long afternoon for Cyclone fans. It's already 28-0.
I'm not Joe Athlete. I bowl, I work in the yard, I take long walks, and I still go to Sport Mart for clothes that fit my kind of workout.
For the way you play.
The everyday Sport Mart price is guaranteed the lowest in town, or I get the difference in cash. It's the ESP guarantee.
For the way you play.
Save on Ridgeview socks, Ridgeview headbands, matching wristbands. Sport Mart guarantees Ridgeview for less.
Sport Mart. For the way you play. Cash in the market is the name of the game. From Chicago, sometimes Pete WA. Get in on the action. Believe us when we say there's no quicker satisfaction. Playing is as easy as the money you win to do be.
To cash in on Cash in the Market, look for details in Sunday Sun Times.
We get rich by the money, make money every day. Cash in the market. Chicago, sometimes Pete WA.
Welcome back to Ames, Iowa, and Cyclone Stadium. Oklahoma, the #1 ranked team in the nation, showing you why they have that lofty ranking. Leading Iowa State 28-0 with 11:20 to play in the half. And their last scoring drive for the Sooners, 6 plays, 79 yards. And it didn't take long again, 1 minute, 15 seconds. Absolutely a superb football team. Here's the kickoff by Thompson, sailing down to Bridges at the 10. He's to the 20, and then upended at about the 22. You know, Tom Landry, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, said on the AP National Wire last week he didn't think that his replacement NFL team could beat the Oklahoma Sooners. He said not only that, he says, I think our regular NFL team would have trouble with the Sooners.
I think so. You look across the defensive line, they're not huge. They're big. Offensive line, well, they're just pro status, 275, 280, 265, 280, 300. And it's across the second unit, it's just the same way. And, and they've recruited for a long time and accumulated a lot of players.
Jones and Henderson. And this is Henderson. Makes a nice carry. And I think we have a flag down on the play. Across the 25 to about the 26. And that usually is holding in that neighborhood. Henderson ranked 3rd in the Big 8 in rushing coming into the ball game, averaging 4 yards a carry. Whoops. Chop block.
There's a flag on the play.
Personal foul, illegal block. It'll be half.
Chop block.
15 yards, personal foul against Iowa.
15 yards, and it'll set Iowa State back to the 12. So now it's 1st and 20. And you look at Derek DeGennaro. Actually, the penalty was half the distance to the goal line. And the clock is rolling again at 10:55 to go in the first half. Bridges comes in motion to the near side. Henderson gets the call. And believe you me, he runs into a wall. Frank Blevins, the first to make contact with Henderson. He gets up to about the 15.
Henderson's greatly improved as a runner, and I think that the work with Norm Anderson this year, came here from UCLA, has been excellent. But today it's just a situation, too many bodies out there for Oklahoma that are fast, big, just outstanding football players.
2nd down and 18. Play action fake. DeGennaro with time, and it is complete at the 25. He hits Tom Schulding. Still 9 yards short of the first down, but I believe if that may be the 2nd reception of the day.
Good fake into the line, good blocking, good rollout, has plenty of time, but got to get rid of it. Makes a good throw, and Schulding makes an excellent diving catch.
Well, they mark it down as 3rd down and 8 now at the 25. Iowa State has to get to the 33 and a half to pick up the first down. They have yet to get a first down today. DeGennaro to throw for it. Not much time left. And almost threw it right into the hands of a defender. Scott Garl was right there, and DeGennaro was looking for a running back to release from the backfield, and no one was there except an offensive lineman.
Well, the guy that's out there is Bush, I believe, 85. Look at DeGennaro. He's trying to figure out a way right there. 85 is Mike Bush, and he was, look the way he ignored the football. He was not eligible or he didn't want it. But Mike Bush would be a good player. I think he would want that football.
Johnston to punt. And this one bounces inside the 30 and then out of bounds at about the 25. So an excellent punt by Judge Johnston. Oklahoma not really putting any pressure whatsoever on the punting efforts of Iowa State.
Well, they watched what Iowa State does. If you do rush them, possibility that they might go to a pass or a run off of that, and they're just figuring that let Iowa State kick the football, we'll take it wherever we get it.
Barry Switzer, 140 career wins in his 15 years at OU. 3-0 this year, and en route to becoming 4-0. Here's Mitchell. Good second effort, and Mitchell picks up a tough 8 up to about the 33. Lopey Williams makes the tackle.
Watch the blocking. Watch the hold. You see him just everything sealed off. Marcus Robertson's the first guy that has a shot to bring him down, and does so, but not till they pick up 8 yards.
Second and 2 for Oklahoma. At its own 34.
See that Mark Hudson. He's only 280 pounds, number 79.
Fumble. And it may be Iowa State football.
Oklahoma players coming off the field. Some of them look like they're coming off, but let's take a look.
And now Tempers flying. And it's Cyclone football inside the 40. Robert Dabney comes up with the fumble recovery for Iowa State.
Quick handoff. Carrying the ball pretty well, but there's a strip right there. You see the football pop up.
Dole stripped it.
Dole stripped him. Ball loose. Iowa State players. Now there's going to be I used to call it on the playgrounds, a hog pile. And there are some big hogs in that pile, I'll tell you.
Iowa State, with their deepest penetration into Sooner territory today, takes over at the 36. Derek DeGennaro, 1 of 5. 10 yards. That's to Tom Scholing moments ago. Single setback, draw play to Henderson. Fights his way for about 3 or 4 up to about the 32. Darrell Reed wraps up Henderson.
We've said Reed was involved in about 3 or 4 tackles in the first series of downs by Iowa State, and made the comment that it's just the fact that you don't realize how fast these guys move. You practice against, practice against your second defense or your scout team defense all week, and then you come and face these guys, and this is the real world. These are guys that run 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, and they're 240, 250 pounds.
NFL stars of tomorrow. Both wide receivers split to the near side. Henderson a draw again. This time up to the 30, maybe the 29. It'll be about 3 yards short of the first down. They'll spot it down at the 29.5-yard line. And in on the tackle was Darren Kilpatrick, number 90.
What are you talking about, NFL stars of tomorrow? There may be no NFL. You know, there isn't much there right now.
I'll give them a week.
Yeah, I think so. They're starting to come back.
You got 85 of them walking back. And when you're making that kind of money,
can't make that kind of money when you're 40 in that league.
Can't make it on the unemployment line either. No? Here's Bush in motion. Henderson again, close to the first down, may have it. And if so, that will be the first down of Iowa State this afternoon. Let's see if he's got it. Depends on where they spot it. I think he's going to be about a half-yard short.
Got a good shot of it here. Back coming right straight at us. Hand off, good hard running. Good running by that young fella, Edwin Jones. They're going to bring in and measure, have a look at it. Joe Henderson there to give his advice.
Half-yard shot. Well, I know what the Iowa State fans want now, and you can hear them sort of gathering some momentum on the sideline, and Jim Walden says, hey, we're not going to disappoint them. This may be the highlight of the day right here. Wanting to get the attention of Derek DeGennaro. Fourth and 1 at the most. Split backs in the backfield. Mahoney goes in motion. Quarterback sneak. First down. And to Iowa State's fans today, that's almost like a touchdown.
First isolation on Derek DeGennaro. He doesn't even take a step back. He just goes right ahead. Good line surge. And all the Oklahoma players, they knew what was coming. They're all right there. They just couldn't see him converge on the quarterback, but it's too late.
Keep in mind, last week against Tulsa, the Golden Hurricane managed only 3 first downs against Oklahoma the entire day.
As I've said before, you look at who they played, Mark. Gun it, they beat North Texas State. They beat North Carolina, and they beat Tulsa. A team this good ought to be playing Notre Dame, USC, or UCLA, somebody like that.
Busted play. Flag down. Delay of game. Too much time. The clock ran out.
Coach Walden said it preseason that there would be times when Iowa State would run the clock down. He said, we have a lot of calls to make in the huddle. He said, we'll run a lot of plays with 2 and 3 seconds left on the clock. And he says, occasionally we're going to miss one. Well, don't get too worked up over it. He said, it doesn't bother me too much. He said, I don't like to see it happen, but it's going to happen. That's the way it is. It's the game. He said, we send plays in from the sideline. We try to make it as easy as we can for the players, but it's still a complex offense.
1st and 15 at the 30 of Oklahoma. Bridges in motion. Draw play. And about 2 or 3 up the middle. And again, it's going to be, I believe, Joe Henderson. Yep. Tony Woods, the backup nose guard, makes the tackle for Oklahoma. And Barry Switzer doing some substituting now.
Once again, an end zone look. Just a brief drop play. You see a pretty good hole right there, but look how quickly it closes. Big number 80, Troy Johnson, in there to make the stop. Came in from the defensive end spot, but that kind of speed is tough to stop.
2nd and 12. Gain of 3 on the play. Schuling sprinting out wide right. Oh, what a tackle. Before DeGennaro could get the option in gear, Scott Evans catches DeGennaro from behind. And there is a flag down on the field.
Got to think about that a minute, too, is that here is a really good football team with a 240-pound freshman.
Yeah. Now, this is after the whistle. Whoa, hello. Personal foul. Both teams. They whistle them both.
It's a little bit like the one last week at Wyoming. So Coach Walden made a big to-do out of. Having a little talk with Barry Switzer, explaining it to him. And like all coaches, Barry doesn't like it.
Well, it's 3rd and 12 now, and Iowa State marching backwards again. All on the 30-yard line.
3rd and about 15.
DeGennaro wants to throw. He'll never get it away. And he is wrapped up by David Vickers. Vickers coming in on a safety blitz. And DeGennaro dropped back at the 44.
Again, that great speed. Vickers, 6'4", 198-pound senior out of Tulsa. Good size, good speed, and you just can't fight it.
Judge Johnston on the punt. And Oklahoma sending their 3rd safety back now. It's going to be Derek White. Back deep to receive the punt, but keep in mind if Johnston gets into this one, they'll just let it sail into the end zone. White's perched at about the 20. High snap, no problem. Line drive kick going for the corner and into the end zone on the fly. So Oklahoma will put it in play at their own 20. You should take a look at Eddie Bridges right there. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left to play. First half. Sooners 28, Iowa State nothing. Sooners have 15 first downs, Iowa State 1. Holloway staying in there. They'll go from the bone. The fake to Carr. Holloway with the keeper. Big yardage, and he may be gone. Marcus Robertson finally catches him from behind as he crosses midfield. He had one man to beat, and Robertson just simply got him out of bounds.
Take a look at this. Just as soon as he clears right there. Now there's no one. Just blockers. Number 33 comes up to make the play on Carruthers. And right there, it's a wide open field. Robertson plays off the block. If he doesn't play off the block, Holloway's gone.
Stepped out of bounds. High formation. Holloway with the keeper again. This time he kicks it out to Collinson. A nice move to get outside. And then finally chased out of bounds at about the 45.
Boy, this is just a great move by Collins. Took the pitch. Holloway maybe shouldn't have thrown the pitch because there were a lot of people right around him. Yep. But right there, look at that. Stops and doesn't even hardly slow down. Went around Staniak. Good chase. Baker tries to get the ball out of his hands, but no go.
Chad Welding chases
or Welding,
him out.
excuse me.
Patrick Collins, 39 yards, or only 3 carries today. This time. The handoff right up the middle to Lydell Carr, the big, powerful fullback, and he rambles for about 4 or 5, close to the 40. They're going to say his knee touched at the 42. Mike Shane, the middle linebacker, gets credit for the tackle. Last year, the Sooners finished 11-1, and that one loss came to the Hurricanes of Miami and Vinny Testaverde. Oklahoma went into that ball game ranked, I believe, #1 in the nation, and surprisingly dropped that decision. Here's a fumble snap, and let's see who falls on it. Is it Oklahoma or Iowa State football? The way everybody's reacting, I think Oklahoma has recovered it. I don't think the quarterback ever got that one. It will be retained by the Sooners and bring up 3rd and 7. Ball spotted on the 42.5, 43-yard line of Iowa State. Just under 3 minutes left to play in the first half. Iowa State with a nickel defense. Holloway going long, and he threads the needle for a touchdown. Big play, complete to number 25, Anthony Stafford.
Holloway once again with just superb protection. Looks down the middle. Not a great thrower, but adequate. Does well enough. Stafford is wide open and just pulls a couple Iowa State players into the end zone.
So it's 34-0 with 2:47 left to play in the first half. And Lasher on to attempt the point after. Perfect again, 35-0. Well, we told you at the outset that this one may be a one-sided affair, and even Jim Walden knew that, and that's exactly what we have in our hands. A long afternoon for the Cyclones, but an opportunity to see what it takes to become a #1 nationally ranked team. Oklahoma. They are #1 in every poll this week, and now you can see what it takes, the talent, the expertise, the execution of a champion. Of course, keep in mind, they are not necessarily the Big 8 champs yet. They still have to fight Nebraska, and that one's coming up a little bit later on this fall. That should be a real shootout. That one's in Lincoln this year again.
You kind of look at the ratings, too. You know, you say, well, they'll probably play Nebraska for the Big 8 Conference Championship, but they might also play for the National Championship. But if you really get down to it and look at it, that might be the only game that they play all season. And it's kind of a disappointment to me that a team like this, you know, Barry knew that coming up in the future that he was going to recruit and keep the thing going. I think they should play tougher teams. But playing North Texas and Tulsa and some of those, I can understand the Tulsa game. But I think they need to upgrade their schedule a little bit and get some competitors on there.
Thompson set to kick off. Ross and Bridges back deep for Iowa State. 2 minutes, 47 seconds left to play in the first half. High kick being held up by the wind. Ross draws a bead on it at his own 14. Gets up across the 20 and then finds a little running room up to the 35 to 37-yard line. So Dennis Ross with a very respectable return.
Fine return by Dennis Ross. Had some good blocking on the side, but did a lot of the work on his own. Watch Eddie Bridges. Little fella, not very big, looking for somebody to block. And Ross rolls off the block. There's a good block right there. Missed the number, and Ross keeps going upfield. Needs one more there to get open. And then the white jerseys start to show up.
Iowa State takes over at their own 37. 1st and 10. And again, it's, I believe, Derry DeGennaro at quarterback. Here's the quick pitch out to Edward Jones, and he's caught from behind in the backfield. Or at about the line of scrimmage, actually, by Adrian Cooper, who is the backup defensive end. Cooper's only a freshman, 6'6", 235-pounder. And he has to play backup to Darrell Reed, who is so sensational at the outset of the game. Keep in mind that the big thing that was stuck in Jim Walden's craw this week was not the fact that he had to play Oklahoma, but he had to play them shorthanded because Oklahoma's up there with 95 scholarship players, and admittedly some of the best in the nation. But Iowa State has less than 60 players on scholarship this year. DeGennaro sees something that doesn't appeal to him. The 25-second clock was running down, and before he could get it off, he called time. So they avoided perhaps a 5-yard penalty there and will utilize their second timeout of the first half. Jim Walden, the Pac-10 Coach of the Year in 81 and 83.
Had some fine teams and has beaten some people at, well, some surprises out in that conference. And I was talking to somebody, I think it was down in Phoenix this past week, about from Spokane and Seattle, and they said that that out in that area that the University of Idaho is a bigger school than Washington State, and it's really kind of an isolated place. They were in the Pac-10, but didn't get much notoriety or much mention. And I think that over the years, the 9 years he was there, just did a superb job of getting a team ready for certain games with not too many bodies.
Next week, Oklahoma travels to Texas, and Iowa State returns right here to Cyclone Stadium with more equitable opportunity for success. It'll be hosting the Panthers of Northern Iowa. Darrell Lubra with an outstanding team this year, and that may be quite a ball game. Mahoney goes in motion. The fake pitch, DeGennaro throwing long. He's going for Schulich. It's complete. Down at the 20-yard line, and the biggest play of the day for Iowa State. Play action fake, and then a whopper to Tom Schulich.
He just ran by Ken McMichael. Great throw by DeGennaro, put it right on the money. Good fake, good protection, good work inside, and an excellent throw. But you'll notice down the sideline, Schulich has a man beat. Pass a little bit towards the inside. He might have gotten in the end zone, but McMichael beaten by a step or so. Cyclones with their second first down of the game.
Deepest penetration of the afternoon for Iowa State. 1st and 10 down at the Sooner 20. Bridges in motion. Play action fake again. DeGennaro rolling the other way, going for the end zone of Bridges. In and out of his hands. He had it, but couldn't hang on. Stops the clock with 1:41 left to play in the first half. Bridges, 9 receptions in 87 for 112 yards, but yet to score.
Kevin McMichael, who was in place of David Vickers, is now on the sideline. He was beaten on that pass play, and he got a little lecture, and David Vickers, the first teamer, is back in.
Bridges in motion again. This time, it's not a play-action fake, but actually a straight old handoff right up the middle to Joe Henderson, and he is met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Sooners. Well, Iowa State may have a chance here to get some points on the board because they are well within range of Jeff Shudak.
Let's not talk field goal now. Let's talk touchdown.
Not on 3rd and 11, huh? Curtis Williams right there.
A 1-yard loss on the play. Sets up
Give him a little bit of protection. Let's get a pass in the end zone.
I just don't want to see DeGennaro throw one to the wrong jersey. I'd like to see the points get on. 1:05 and counting. Time winding down here in the first half. Single back set. 3 wideouts all to the near side. And the draw play to Henderson. And he's just trying to get some position for Shudak. He gets across the 20 and runs into Blevins, and then Henderson is driven back, and Henderson may be hurt. Getting up a little slow here, and it looked like it was after the whistle. Maybe a late hit. No flag down. And we're going to see Jeff Shudak come on right now. There's Henderson. He's shaken up.
2-yard gain on the play for Henderson.
Maybe he had the wind knocked out of him or something, but Shudak will be on to attempt what is a 35-yard field goal. Keep in mind that he'll have the wind at his back. Shudak, 8 of 9 this year, and his longest a 47-yarder.
Jeff Shudak in to attempt a 35-yard field goal for Iowa State.
Here's the kick. It is up, and it is good. 1 second left on the clock. Iowa State will not be shut out. And the fans roaring their approval. They know what the task is, and they know what a mismatch it is. So if you get some points against Oklahoma, it's got to be a thrill.
Good pass completion to Schulding, set the play up. Cyclones went down and got some points on the board. Jeff Shudak was ranked 3rd in the country in field goals. He was 8 of 9 and ranked 29th in the nation in scoring, which for a guy playing for a team that hasn't scored a lot of points, hasn't won a game, that's a commendable record. But he's now 9 of 10 from the field goals, and that's just outstanding.
He's going to be the difference in some ball games for Iowa State in the years ahead. He's only a freshman. 6 plays, 63 yards. Not bad. Jeff Shudak, 35-yarder. 1 second left, so unless Oklahoma can return this one all the way into the end zone, the first half will be history, and Oklahoma will take a 32-point lead into the halftime locker room.
My guess is Iowa State won't give them a chance to return it. I think it'll be a low runner, and that they'll try and get down and cover it.
Shudak set to kick off. And it's an onside kick. And recovered just across the 45, and that'll wrap up the first half. So it's halftime here at Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field in Ames, Iowa. And as expected, the Oklahoma Sooners have this one well under control. You're looking at a great crowd on a great afternoon. It's 35-3 at halftime.
Jim Walden is brought to you by McClure Engineering Company, consulting engineers since 1956, Fort Dodge and Altoona. By the ISU Alumni Association, serving more than 150,000 alumni and friends, is proud to pledge its support to Coach Jim Walden and the Iowa State football program. By Sand Construction and Supply Company Incorporated, Humboldt, Iowa.
I'm working my way up, making tomorrow a better day. Everyone has dreams, but mine are coming true. And you were always there to say, we believe in you, we're Bankers Trust. We believe in you, and the things you always work for. We're Bankers Trust. We believe in you.
Calling case number H85.
The system was ready. The judge, the defense, the prosecution. A criminal could have been put behind bars instead of back on the street. It might have happened except for one thing. The witness never showed. He just didn't think it was that important. Justice can't happen without you. Crime can. Report, identify, testify.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Brissett, and even though I play a robot on Small Wonder, I have real feelings. So do the 21 million Americans who have trouble hearing. They don't like it when others shout at them or overly exaggerate their speech. Too much background noise makes it harder for them to hear. So turn down the volume. Most of all, be yourself. Face them directly and speak clearly. They'll appreciate it, and you.
For more information, call 1-800-638-TALK.
It's halftime here at Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field, and the Oklahoma Sooners, ranked #1 in the nation, lead the Iowa State Cyclones 35-3. Hello again, everybody. Mark Matthew and George Turner here on the Cyclone Television Network, and I don't think there were any surprises in the first half.
I don't think so, not at all. I think that Oklahoma did just what people expected them to do. Their offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage. They scored pretty much like you would expect them, and what the heck? They're a good football team. There's no question about it. And when they come on a travel trip with 60 players, they're all going to be good.
Well, Iowa State certainly has its work cut out for them this afternoon because just scoring a first down or any points at all, recording a first down or scoring any points is an achievement. You have to look at what other opponents have done against Oklahoma this year, and Oklahoma is #1 in the nation against scoring defense. Here's Iowa State with 3 on the board, a couple first downs, and I think Jim Walden has to be pleased so far.
Well, I think that they've done what they wanted them to do, but they're just not enough people, and I think on down in the future that with Jim Walden's thinking, creative offense, that there's going to be some different years.
It'll be interesting to take a look at the first half statistics, and we'll do that in just a moment when we return to Cyclone Stadium in Ames, Iowa, after this word from your Iowa State University.
Iowa State University is establishing an international reputation for the innovative use of laser technology. A laser technique that tracks the carcinogenic process for 3 of the most potent cancer-causing agents was developed at Iowa State and is the only research of its kind in the world.
This particular technique for assessing DNA damage due to chemical carcinogens is one that I think is very simple and practical and eventually could be used in clinical applications.
The capability that we have right now is about 1,000 times more sensitive than any presently available commercial device. And we are the only laboratory in the world right now that has that kind of sensitivity available to us for measuring small quantities of material.
Iowa State University, making tomorrow's dream today's reality.
It's halftime here in Ames, Iowa, and the Oklahoma Sooners lead the Iowa State Cyclones 35-3. And let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics. Impressive numbers for the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. They've rushed for 268 yards, 340 in total offense. And look at the first downs, 18-2.
Yeah, there's quite a difference, and it's very, very much as we expected that Oklahoma would dominate play. And I don't think that, you know, if it was 240 yards, total yards to 54, it would still be total domination. But it's just a case of too much. And Jim Walden came in here with a pretty severe penalty from the NCAA and came in late. Couldn't really recruit as extensively as he would like, but I'm sure that the recruiting network is out. I noticed that quite a number of kids in today that with the Iowa State recruiting group. And I'm sure that on down the line that he's going to get some players that are of this caliber. Now, it's going to take a little time. It'll be interesting football. I think that when he gets great players, it's going to be interesting football. But at least some improvement has been made, and I think that on down the line, you're going to see even more improvement for the young Cyclones.
Some of the individual statistics in the first half, Joe Henderson leading the way for Iowa State on the ground attack with 35 yards and 15 carries. But Iowa State has rushed the ball 23 times and netted 1 yard. 53 yards in total offense for Iowa State. Derek DeGennaro in the passing department, 2 of 7 for 54 yards and sacked 4 times. Leading the way for Oklahoma, Lydell Carr has 6 carries, 62 yards. Jamel Holloway, 10 carries, 88 yards. And Holloway, who is predominantly a runner, is also 4 of 8 in passing, 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. Well, you can see the Sooners filing out of the locker room, and we're going to find out who is going to receive and kick off here in the second half, and we'll be back to tee it up and get it underway. The final 30 minutes this afternoon between the Sooners and Cyclones in just a moment.
Jim Walden is brought to you by Harlan Builders. Post-frame buildings by Harlan Builders Incorporated, Harlan, Iowa. By the ISU Achievement Foundation, Iowa State University's principal private support organization, is proud to support Coach Jim Walden and the Cyclones. And by Kent Feeds. See your Kent Feeds dealer. He's the man with the guarantee.
One of the most effective ways to damage your health is to smoke. Smoking enormously increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, and cancer. Cancer of the lungs, the mouth, the throat, the esophagus, the bladder, the kidneys, the pancreas. Sure, there are a lot of hazards in today's world, but this is one you can control. Don't let your health go up in smoke. For help in quitting, write the Will Rogers Institute, White Plains, New York.
There are people who say Americans don't build things the way we used to. That our products are victims of planned obsolescence, workers who don't care, and managers who have given up. Now there's a product that should put an end to that kind of talk. The Mega Truck from Ruan. To build it, Ruan created a task force of the best automotive minds in America. And we asked them to give us their best, to design and build parts that perform better and last longer than any others. The result is a truck so well engineered and so well built that it will actually run 1,000,000 miles. The Mega Truck, 1,000,000 miles or more from America's best.
Mark Matthew along with George Turner back here at Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field in Ames, Iowa, where the Iowa State Cyclones have the unenviable task of trying to contain the nation's #1 football team, the Oklahoma Sooners. And if you're Barry Switzer, what do you tell them at halftime when you lead 35-3?
One thing he told them was that we're not going to play Jamel Holloway the second half. We're going to go with Charles Thompson. And I think there'll be wholesale changes pretty much across the line as Oklahoma, I think in the second half, will come out with second-line players. But as Donnie Duncan said before the game started, chatting with him in the press box, he said that our second unit might be every bit as good as our first unit. And we just don't get the chance to play that much. They've had that chance this year in that the teams they've beaten, they've just annihilated. So the second unit's getting a lot of time, and I'm sure when they play that more or less one game late in the year against Nebraska, it's going to help them immensely.
Donnie Duncan certainly should know, because he's the last man to, from Iowa State anyway, to give Oklahoma a tussle, a tie back in 1981. And that took place down at Oklahoma. So when you tie the Sooners at home, you're really doing something. Donnie Duncan, of course, now the athletic director of the University of Oklahoma. Iowa State will kick off to start the second half. Here's Jeff Shudak. This one's hanging high, and it will be a returnable. Picked up by Charles Thompson, I believe. Hard to get the number. Well, Bernard Hall, number 5, not number 6. And he gets up to the 34.
All Bernard Hall is a freshman out of Detroit. He's 6'2", 220.
And as you mentioned, George, at quarterback here in the second half, Charles Thompson, 5'10", 170-pound freshman, will be coming into the ball game. There's his numbers: 19 carries, 164 yards. He's 3 of 8 in the passing department thus far this year. Thompson hands off to Lydell Carr. He is met right at the line of scrimmage. And actually, Iowa State came up with a football there, but I don't believe it's going to be ruled a fumble. Scott Benson, first to meet Carr head on.
Take a look, just a quick handoff to the fullback. And notice 46 Dabney, Randy Byrne right up in there, make the good stop. And down at the bottom of the pile is Scott Benson.
Carr with 62 yards in the first half on 6 carries. Second down and 10, no gain. This time, Thompson pulls it out, then swings it out on a shovel pass. And a loose football picked up by Oklahoma. And when you're number 1, things bounce your way. And I think Lydell Carr is the man that came up with a loose ball as Stell bobbled it.
One of the most interesting laterals I've watched. There's the pitch out. You notice that Thompson doesn't hold it quite as long, but around the corner, and you notice a good block right there on Marcus Robertson to take him out of the play. A little bit of a slide. And right there, boom, football in the air. You see coming right behind like it's almost planned. Lydell Carr picked it off.
First and 10 at the 42. Thompson again tries to keep it. And he's up across the 35 down to the 32. Anthony Hoskins makes the stop, and that will be about a yard short of the first down, so 2nd down and 9 coming up.
Watch the play of Robert Dabney, senior defensive end for the Cyclones. 6'2", 229. Watch the movement across the line. He's defensive end or linebacker, whatever you want to call it. Right there, and gets good stick on the tackle. Pursued across the line of scrimmage. Oklahoma would plan to outrun him.
2nd and 1. Stafford and Stell in the backfield. The fullback is Carr. Pitch out to Stafford. He's got the first down and a whole down to the 11. Finally wrapped up from behind by Hugh Suffren. First down. Anthony Stafford. First half, 39 yards on 5 carries and 1 TD.
Just a real basic wishbone play. Make the fake right there to the fullback up the middle. Now look at the blockers out front. Everybody looking for somebody. The pitch goes wide, and there's still white jerseys out there taking care of people. Suffren pushed out of the play, recovers to get back involved in the tackle.
1st and 10 at the 11. Charles Thompson with a long count. Thompson on the option. Dives forward at about the 5, down to the 3. And Hugh Suffren again in on the stop.
He was a former wide receiver in years past. Now converted to defensive back. Charles Thompson, the 2nd unit quarterback, 2 carries for 17 yards. Again, has great speed, just like the rest of them. He's not quite as big, 5'10", 170.
They were spotted down at the 3, but actually Oklahoma could get a first down short of the goal line. It is not 2nd and goal. It is 2nd and 3. Inside, it's academic. It's touchdown for Oklahoma. Lydell Carr, I believe. Or is it Stafford? It's Stafford. Anthony Stafford.
Just a straight ahead play. 1, 2 men through the hole. And here comes Stafford. Sees the little crack right there, puts the head down. Dole gets a hand on him, but can't stop him. Stafford backwards into the end zone.
Lasher on to attempt the point after. 41-3 as it now stands. 12:03 to play in the 3rd. And the kick looks good, is good. 42-3. The Sooners over the Iowa State Cyclones. And while the teams take time out to shuffle players in and out, we'll take time out to shuffle some information to you.
Florida football is a big hit. Follow the exciting Florida Gators for some of the hardest hitting action in college football. Gator Football Replay with David Steele and Lee McGriff.
Follow a full season of Florida football with the Gator Football Replay every week on Sports Vision.
Chicago, we got it.
We got the All-Star game in Chicago town. We got an All-Star season and we're playoff bound. Get started.
Be there for every great game.
Feel the thunder.
Only with Bulls full season tickets.
We got 5 on the ball. We got a double pump funk. We got them tough in the clutch. Got a slam jam dunk. Get started.
Call 943-5800.
Feel the thunder.
Bulls 88, the only way to go.
12 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the 3rd. And the scoring drive for Oklahoma here in the 2nd half, a quick one. 6 plays, 66 yards, 255. Stafford with a score, 42-3. Thompson set to kick off now for Oklahoma. And this one, a high hanger taken by Eddie Bridges at the 14. To the 24, the 29, rolled out at about the 30. Don't forget, next week, Iowa State will be at home, and they'll be playing host to the Panthers of Northern Iowa. Eddie Bridges, kickoff returns, 5 of them, averaging 19.8 per return this year.
final from Iowa City. Michigan State 19, Iowa 14.
And Michigan State just announced as an upset winner over Iowa today, 19-14. So the Hawkeyes start the Big Ten on a losing note. Henderson gets the call around right end, up across the 35, and a nice gain of about 5. Tony Woods, the nose guard, finally makes the stop on Joe.
Take a look at Henderson. Gets the quick pitch, gets outside, quickly turns it up inside. Big 99 across to make the stop. Tony Woods, 270-pound junior. Again, the great pursuit of Oklahoma. Try to get the ball outside. You think you can whip him, and that speed kills.
Henderson, 16 carries, 41 yards today. 2nd down and 5 at the 36. Oklahoma showing blitz, and they give right up the middle. Kilpatrick makes the tackle on Henderson. Stopped at the 38. So he'll be 3 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 3. Just under 11 minutes to remain here in the 3rd.
We have 2 yards for Henderson. 3 from the Cyclones at their own 38.
And we want to remind all our good viewers in the state of Iowa that this winter, the Cyclone Television Network will also bring you Iowa State basketball live right here. Here's the pitch to Henderson. Does he have room for the first down? No, he does not. And a smashing tackle made by charging David Vickers from the strong linebacker spot. And Henderson slow getting up, as you can see. Vickers really put the smack on Henderson. He may have got his bell rung on that one.
It was almost like Vickers knew right where the play was going. And of course, that long pitch, there's not much else you can do. There's not much fake there. As soon as the motion goes that way.
Judge Johnston on the punt now for Iowa State, having a banner afternoon. 4th and 2. No fake here. Johnston with an end-over-ender taken at the 25. And a little peel reversing up to about the 32. And the return was made by Ricky Dixon.
Excellent tackle by Trent Van Hoosen. Excellent tackle. Ball carrier looked like he had, or the receiver looked like he had a lot of running room, made the quick stop and started outside, and Van Hoosen was there to make the stop.
Oklahoma takes over at its own 33-yard line. 9:40 to go in the 3rd. The Sooners lead 42-3. Full house backfield, wishbone formation. Eric Mitchell in at left halfback now. And the handoff goes to Lydell Carr. Slants off left tackle. Still going across midfield. And a gain of about 19 yards.
Boy, these Oklahoma backs with just great balance. They keep the feet under them. Not the low lean, but you watch. Watch Carr. Good balance, good moves, keeps the feet under him. A little hurdle right there, but just kind of shuffles along and just keeps going downfield. Nothing fancy, very basic.
Carr, 104 yards on the afternoon. He'll get the carry again. This time a slant to the right. And this time the going's a little tougher. Upended at the 45 by Anthony Hoskins. Gain of 4 on the play brings up 2nd down and 6.
And Richard on the tackle.
After the coldest night thus far this fall, it has turned out to be a gorgeous day. It got down to 27 degrees overnight. First frost here in Iowa this season. And then this afternoon, temperatures in the low 60s probably. As Thompson tries to hop, skip, and jump his way for a little progress, and he gets close to a first down up across the 40 to about the, right at the 40. He'll be a yard short. Robert Dabney makes the tackle for Iowa State. Brings up 3rd down and 1.
Watch 45, Mike Shane. Shane turns the play inside right here. Doesn't allow him to make the pitch. Gets a little trip job, and others come along to help out. Good play by Mike Shane.
Thompson, 3 carries, 22 yards this far. First down for Oklahoma as Damon Stell takes it over the middle. What's amazing about Oklahoma is during a course of a ball game, you see probably, 6, 7, 8 running backs in there, and there's just no drop-off. They just keep coming at you. And each and every one of them a tremendously talented young man.
Plus the fact that the first unit guys know that they've got to put out, or there's another guy equally as good that's waiting right there to take the job.
First and 10 at the Iowa State 38. Carr, little trap up the middle, and a gain of 3 down to the 35. Mike Ernst makes the tackle for Iowa State.
Good defensive play by the Cyclones. Keep the play to about a 3-yard pickup. Young linebacker number 45 is going to be a good one. He's just a young fella. Mike Sheen out of Sweetser, Indiana.
Here's the pitch out to Stell. And a great open field tackle by Lope Williams.
Good work by the Cyclone. Just strung the play out. If you watch it, it'll just goes across the board. Pitch right there. Goes outside, and you see a lot of red jerseys. Hughes Suffren up, Lope Williams up to make the stop. Suffren there to make the kill. Good defensive play. Just extend the play to the sideline.
Oklahoma now coming up out of the I on a 3rd down and 9, and rolling out is Thompson. He wants to go long over the middle, and it is almost intercepted. Hughes Suffren had a hand on it at the 15, but couldn't find the handle. And I think this may be one of the very few possessions of the day that Oklahoma does not score. They have not punted yet.
Pass intended for Eric Bross. But running out of the I, they had a short man over the middle, but he looks deep. And Suffren tips it up in the air. Got both hands on it at one time or the other, but couldn't hold on to it.
And Oklahoma forced a punt for the first time today, and it's going to be Todd Thompson, averaging 32.6 yards on the season, his longest a 47-yarder. Jeff Dole back deep to receive for Iowa State. Now he's punting into the wind. This one's going to come down short. Dole calling for the fair catch and collects it at about the 9.5. So Iowa State with rather poor field position. But Oklahoma, for the first time this afternoon, stopped short of the goal line.
Just a strategic punt by Oklahoma. Kicked it up and tried to drop it at about the 10-yard line, which he did. But if Dole lets it go, it might roll down inside the 10, inside the 5. They could down it quite a ways down. It might again run back outside. But Dole made a wise move. Cyclones have it right at the 10-yard line.
6:18 to play in the 3rd. The Sooners lead 42-3. We'll be back in just a moment.
Cash in the market is the name of the game. From Chicago Sun-Times and PWA. Get in on the action. Believe us when we say there's no quicker satisfaction. Playing is as easy as a money you win to do me.
To cash in on Cash in the Market, look for details in Sunday Sun-Times.
Get rich by the money, make money every day. Cash in the market. Chicago Sun-Times PWA.
At O'Connor Ford, prices are so low, financing is so fast, 5 minutes, and selections are so incredible. You must visit me for all your automotive needs now. Own an 84 Eldorado for just $11,888. An 83 Skyhawk wagon for just $24,88. Own a 78 Ford Granada for just $588.
We offer over 300 affordable quality used cars.
If anyone can, O'Connor can.
O'Connor Ford, 2600 West 95th.
.6:18 to play in the 3rd quarter, and Iowa State taking over on their own 10-yard line. Here's the fake pitch, and a little misdirection intended, but they did not fool the Oklahoma Sooners, especially big number 78 Scott Evans, who put a smashing hit on Sylvester Nickerson.
Quick fake, quick pitch, and Nickerson got the ball. He made a little stutter step. Before he even got the ball, he knew what was going to happen to him. Oklahoma player, Scott Evans, 6'3", 240-pound, and look at that, freshman, starting in the defensive line for Oklahoma.
There's the story. Loss of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 12 now. This time they give to Nickerson. He gets back across the 10, maybe the 11-yard line, nothing more. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. 3rd and 9. Brad McBride makes the tackle on Nickerson.
Look at the nose guards for Oklahoma. They start as sophomore, 6'2", 270. Behind him is a junior who's 6'5", 270. Now David Vickers comes back in the defensive backfield. They bring out an extra lineman.
I wonder if we're going to see John Glatfeldy today. We've seen Derek DeGennaro the entire game thus far, and Glatfeldy is officially the number 2 quarterback this week. Sadek injured. Draw play to Nickerson. Nowhere to go. So it's going to be 4th down and about 10. And Judge Johnston will have to punt out of his own end zone once again. Bernard Hall and Ricky Dixon will be back deep to receive for the Oklahoma Sooners. Clock rolling, 4:34 left to play in the 3rd. And I'm sure that both Jim Walden and Barry Switzer would just as soon keep that clock going as frequently as they can. Johnston today averaging 40.6 yards per punt. Time for an Oklahoma fumble. Get about one of those a quarter, and they haven't had one yet. Here's a line drive that is taken by Hall at the 49. Crosses the 45. Stumbles forward to about the 43. And Oklahoma will start out in Iowa State territory.
Low punt by Judge Johnson, which just sets up the good run back. But Cyclones covered it pretty well.
Don't forget next week, the Panthers and the Cyclones. Most of these same Cyclone Television Network stations. And Sports Vision in Chicago. Glad to have them along with us this week. Thompson, 3 carries, 22 yards. Thompson on the option. Drops the football. Rolls out of bounds. And let's see whose ball it is. I believe it's going to be Oklahoma's. They were the last to control it. Iowa State may have touched it last, but that doesn't count.
Just a down-the-line option. Basic wishbone play. Has a pretty good hole there. I think he'd like to wanted to come up with a pitch, but somebody popped the ball out from behind. It's loose. And you see it right there. It'll skid out of bounds. Cyclones can't get control of it. Goes to Oklahoma, 9-yard pickup.
Second down and 1 for the Sooners. Thompson, 1st down, and maybe a whole lot more. Hugh Suffren was the only man he had to beat, but he is ridden out of bounds at about the 10. There was nobody between Thompson and the goal line except Suffren.
Basic wishbone. Fake to the middle man. Straight down the line. You notice the man going outside following the pitch man, and Thompson is through there. He's kind of on his own, makes a good move. Suffren doesn't take the fake, pops him out of bounds just inside the 10.
Thompson, 52 yards thus far today and 5 carries now. And the Sooners with 1st and goal at about the 9.5. And off to the first man through, the fullback, who right now is Mike McKinley, a freshman from Perryton, Texas, 215-pounder. Randy Byrne gets credit for the tackle for Iowa State, and it's now 2nd and goal at the 2.
You look at all those weights now. Freshman, lineman 240. He'll be 260, 275 before he gets out.
Thompson wants the end zone and has found it. When you got speed and a wishbone and a talented backfield like Oklahoma, it doesn't take very long.
Cyclones are coming with pressure. Linemen just turn it back. Right there, Dabney's out of the play. Thompson cuts back inside and into the end zone. That's good running. Pretty good blocking, but just excellent running by Thompson. It's loose from one man, switches the ball. It's a quick little move into the end zone.
And the point after is up and good. So we have 3 minutes, 5 seconds left to play in the third quarter. And it is 49-3. But then that's exactly what Jim Walden anticipated today. He said it for a week. Many of the Iowa fans thought, hey, what is this? Usually a coach says positive things like, maybe we got a shot. Jim Walden candidly stated that the Cyclones have no chance.
I had one of the Oklahoma coaches ask me, he says, why isn't he playing Sims? Why is he holding some of these guys out? Well, I don't think they were aware that Sims is pretty severely hurt. I think Coach Walden is very, very concerned with him, and some of the other guys that just aren't recovered from the dings and bruises that they've had in past games. And I think that Coach Walden's just being realistic about this. I don't think he's too concerned with what the Oklahoma coaches think about it.
But interestingly, Jim Walden right now is not wearing any headset, and that is in itself a little bit unique. Usually he's in conference with the coaches upstairs, but perhaps he just doesn't care.
Well, he may be going to put it back on when they get the football, too.
43 yards, 4 plays, less than a minute. Thompson, 3-yard run. Jim Walden said also, in addition, this week, he didn't care about Oklahoma. He says, we have nothing to gain from Oklahoma. He says, we can't beat them. He said, I would much rather preserve our talent for opponents which we can match up with a little more equitably. Eddie Bridges on the return up across the 30-yard line to about the 31, and the Cyclones with good position. And we're going to find out whether or not we have Derek DeGennaro or John Glotfeldy coming in at quarterback. It is DeGennaro. Glotfeldy has been warming up periodically on the sideline. First and 10 at the 32. Brett Sadek, the starting quarterback for Iowa State, nursing a pulled muscle, will not play today. DeGennaro wants to try the same option as Oklahoma there, but I assure you there are far different results. Derek DeGennaro is not a Jamel Hollywood. Adrian Cooper makes this tackle on DeGennaro.
There's another one, linebacker, 6'3", 243, out of Denver. 6'6", 243, excuse me. Big fella.
2 of 7 in the passing department for DeGennaro today. Nickerson and Henderson in there right now at the running backs. Play action fake. Holds the linebackers. DeGennaro goes to the sideline and has it complete to Bridges, and a flag flies after the reception. Maybe offensive pass interference here. Let's see what happens. Bridges may have pushed off. Illegal forward pass.
Trying to figure out what happened on the official's call.
Ineligible downfield.
Could have been a man off the line of scrimmage that we didn't see, but of course the play a little bit slow in developing. Just a little bit slow in developing, and the Cyclones will get shoved back a ways.
Interesting penalty.
Might be that they had somebody on the line of scrimmage that was in a wrong place, that somebody was covered up.
Well, Jack Smalling, who is our spotter up here today, is also a college football official. And he's going to take a look at it right now. Jack?
Trying to figure out what's going on, but Didn't see enough. Couldn't see enough of the line there to really tell.
The end result's what counts, and it's 2nd and 13, and the Cyclones try a draw play that goes absolutely nowhere, and maybe even a loss of 1. Big Brad McBride makes the tackle there from Edmond, Oklahoma. Helped out by Adrian Cooper, the freshman defensive end. 3rd down and 14 now. 1:24 left to go in the 3rd. And Jim Walden very content to keep that clock going. Get this afternoon over with, start thinking about the Panthers. And now there's going to be timeout called by Iowa State. I don't know what that's all about, but they do stop the clock with 1:16 to go in the 3rd.
Well, Derek DeGennaro looked out and saw something either he didn't like or he didn't understand the call that was sent in. And this is something that, again, was explained earlier in the year that Coach Walden, if it isn't completely clear, he'd like to have his quarterback call timeout to come over and be sure things are straight. He said, we may take a timeout at times when you think it's not too bright, but he said, we'd rather take that timeout and make a mistake of losing a timeout than make a big mistake that might cost us a touchdown.
And don't forget that Saturday, December 19th, is the date for the great rivalry in basketball between the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones. And this year, Dr. Tom Davis brings his Hawkeyes over to visit Hilton Coliseum in Johnny Orr. We'll have that game live for you right here on all of the Cyclone Television Network stations. December 19th, 7 p.m. Write it down. You won't want to miss this one.
Cyclones scrimmage almost every, before the season gets underway. They'll be scrimmaging on Saturday morning at the Hilton Coliseum, and I'm sure fans are certainly welcome to attend. It's kind of fun just to watch them have a little bit of fun playing without any structure.
3rd and 14 on the 27. Eddie Bridges goes in motion to the far side. Play action fake on the draw. DeGennaro running and rolling and firing incomplete. Intended for Eddie Bridges up around the 40, and good defensive coverage provided by David Vickers, the strong safety of Oklahoma. So now it's 4th and 14, and Iowa State will bring on the punting unit.
Good fake here by DeGennaro. Fakes into the line, gets by the guy. But watch the pursuit. See the ground closing rather quickly, and DeGennaro has to get rid of it. Boy, good hit by David Vickers. Good, big, fast, solid defensive back. There he is.
Johnston ready to punt. End over ender taken by Dixon at the 37. Penalty flags fly. Dixon across the 50, ridden out of bounds at about the 47. And we'll have to decipher the flag now. May have an illegal block downfield.
Good moves by Dixon on the return punt.
Illegal use of hands. That's only a 5-yard penalty, by the way. Barry Switzer having a little discussion with one of the coaches right there. And there are some of the Sooner players giving some autographs to some young fans down here along the sideline. Stafford.
5-yard, illegal use of
Well, you notice when Stafford walk out of there, he's not very big. 5'7".
Oklahoma starts out at their 37. And here's a reverse to Hall. And it is defended beautifully by Iowa State. Bernard Hall on the end around. Reverse. And they get up to the 40-yard line for a gain of about 2.5. Making the tackle was Mike Ernst, freshman defensive end, 6'5", 255-pounder. Watch for number 93.
Take a look at the play. There's the reverse. That's one they run a lot to Keith Jackson. You see right there, good defensive play. Played off the block, turned the play inside, and a whole bunch come along to help out.
2nd down and 8. This time a little counter. Mitchell up across the 40 to the 43. And Marcus Robertson in on the tackle. Mitchell is also a quarterback. And this is the first year he's been switched to running back. And the third quarter has expired. There's the rushing total, 403 yards for Oklahoma, 11 for Iowa State. Well, we have 15 more minutes to endure here at Cyclone Stadium today. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment. The Sooners lead 49-3.
Jim Walden is brought to you by Pony Shoes. Pony Shoes, the official football shoe of the Cyclones. By Kenworth. For all your needs, see Kenworth Mid-Iowa. Parts and service for all makes of heavy-duty trucks. New and used truck sales, parts and service. Kenworth is a step ahead, emphasizing quality first.
I'm working my way up, making tomorrow a better day. Everyone has dreams, but mine are coming true. And you were always there to say, we believe in you, we're Bankers Trust. We believe in you, and the things you always work for. We're Bankers Trust. We believe in you.
Jim Walden is brought to you by Zeidler's. Zeidler's Incorporated, serving Iowa with quality concrete culverts and sewer pipes. Taco Bell. Say hello to Taco Bell's hot new steak fajitas, the Mexican version of a steak sandwich. Try a steak fajita today at any one of the 5 Taco Bell locations in Ames and Des Moines.
I remember how I enjoyed cooking for Don. His favorite was a big, juicy hamburger. We had a good life. So good that we thought it would last forever. That's why Don never thought about life insurance. I've got other things to think about now.
If your family can live on memories, you don't need life insurance. The Farm Bureau family of financial planning services, where belonging makes a difference.
And it's been that kind of afternoon, if you're a Cyclone fan, here at Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field.
A couple of gals sitting up on the east side getting a little sun.
Not much to get excited about today, unless you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan, and they have looked absolutely splendid. Thompson still in at quarterback here in the second half as Oklahoma starts the fourth quarter in the I formation. Thompson on the option. Gets a block downfield, turns the corner, and has a lot of running room before he is rolled out of bounds. He stepped on the sideline at about the 39 or 40-yard line, so they'll mark it down there.
He was suffering, beating on the corner a little bit slow getting up, and I don't know what the problem is. Seven carries, 80 yards. Oh, they just keep coming with him. And of course, Mark's mentioned that Eric Mitchell was a quarterback. They've converted him to running back to make way for this young fella.
First and 10 at the 39. Thompson this time goes out to Mitchell and a missed pitch. Still loose, but it bounces right back up in the grasp of Eric Mitchell. He's dropped for a big loss, but that, I don't know how many times today Oklahoma has put the ball on the turf, but it seems to always bounce right back to him. Tim Baker makes the tackle on Mitchell way back at about the 46-yard line.
Seems like that happens, too. Here's the play. Pitch goes back, and it's way behind Mitchell. Watch right here. Pops right straight up in the air. He tips it. And there's Tim Baker from behind to make the stop.
Over the middle. Intended for Hall. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 14:09 left to play. And brings up a 3rd and 24. Now let's see if Oklahoma's going to punt. I would imagine so. Be only the second punt of the afternoon if they do it. Maybe not.
The incompletion sets up a 3rd and
Third down.
Oh, third down, that's right. And flags fly all over the place.
Richard Marks made a little move away from the line of scrimmage. The Iowa State player was moving too, but Marks also stood up.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure. So now it's going to be 3rd and 29. You know, one good thing today, George, and we haven't mentioned this fact yet, one of the biggest concerns of Jim Walden was injuries. How many people would be injured in this ballgame? Let's look at them.
Watch the big guy on the left-hand side, 64 and 70. But 70 stood up. Iowa State lineman made a little move, and he stood right up.
Anyway, let us knock on wood. There have not been any Iowa State injuries thus far today. Thompson going long, right into the hands of his intended receiver, Damon Stell. And a big play and a big first down. But a flag is down back at about the 45. We'll have to see if the penalty is going to nullify that nice gain.
Ineligible receiver again, I believe.
Yep. It'll come back. That's a 5-yarder. And Barry Switzer says, what's going on? He wants to know what it's all about.
Ineligible receiver downfield or off the line of scrimmage. Barry said, my goodness, I wonder who was that.
I think you read lips very poorly.
I read lips just very judiciously.
4th penalty for the Sooners today. 3rd and 34 now. And Oklahoma wants time. Charles Thompson calls timeout. He wants to talk to Coach Switzer and maybe the press box. 13 minutes, 44 seconds left to play here in Ames, Iowa, as Barry Switzer doesn't have much to be worried about today.
Cyclone linebacker Chris Henches went over to the sideline to talk to the defensive coaches to see what they needed to do, what changes to be made, or what to call on the next play for a defensive set. Chris Henches is kind of an interesting story for the Cyclones. Came here as a all-state fullback down in Jefferson City, Missouri. Missed a year, and as a result, he switched to linebacker, and he's worked out pretty well. Good look at Brett Sadek, this basically starting quarterback who is being held out. He's injured, not feeling too good.
Keith Sims right there, number 69 also, isn't it?
Yeah, Sims, he's not even in uniform. He just got on a jersey to be on the sideline. But no pads, nothing. Jim Walden is, we've said before, he's very, very concerned about Keith Sims. He's a fine, bright, young player. Has a problem with turf toe, and that's something that doesn't cure too quickly.
Tell you one thing, I like that man. .425 of 497 yards today by the Sooners has come on the ground. And a quarterback draw by Charles Thompson. And he's still going. And he's still going. And finally pushed out of bounds way down around the 25-yard line. And he may have the first down.
No, he's right out. He's out at the 37.
Oh, yeah. Stepped out about 10 yards upfield. Let's take a look from the end zone.
Quarterback draw. Back. Zip. Look at the block right there. Right there. And look at the hole. Great call by Oklahoma. And, of course, it helps to have a little guy like this running the play. It's a good move to turn outside. Now he'll get to the sideline. Right there. Stepped out right there.
Well, it is 4th and 7, and Oklahoma will go for it. And they will not get it. And a great defensive effort by number 75, Randy Byrne.
Well, Randy's one of the young guys that coaching staff, they think highly of him, and they're just waiting for him to develop that real toughness. And I think maybe today might be the day that gets him over the hump.
Now,
Randy Byrne, and no fooling around. He just buried him in the ground.
Here's some big news. John Glatfeldy has come in at quarterback for Iowa State. The first time in a Cyclone uniform this young man has played quarterback. He was a good one at Ames High School. Took them to the state playoffs last year. Hand off. Up the middle. A gain of about 1 or 2.
Just one quick comment about Glatfeldy. He's one that the coach says he has never had a quarterback this fast in all of his years at Washington State. But look at the yardage. 10 touchdowns, 1,284 yards. Throwing.
As a senior. It's just 1 year. Well, John, we wish you the very best and hope you have a very successful career. What a thrill it must be playing your first college game against the #1 ranked team in the nation. Good deception on the option. And Iowa State moves it up to about the 48-yard line. Casper in on the tackle.
Just a little fake on the dive play right there. Little flip out. And there's a pretty good size hole, but unfortunately, watch how quickly it closes. 1, 2, 3, right there.
Brings up a 3rd down and 4 at the 47. Iowa State with motion to the far side. Glatfeldy on the pitch out. Cameron Jones, first down, I believe. As he gets across the 50 to about the 48 of Oklahoma. We'll see where they spot him out. Ken McMichael, the strong safety, in on the coverage on Jones.
Pretty good execution by Glatfeldy. Just coming in the game. There they mark it.
It's close.
Official pinning the ball to the turf.
And if it is a first down, it'll be the first 3rd down conversion for Iowa State today, and it is a first down. .12:04 to play in the ball game. Iowa State. First down at the 49. Not bad for John Glatfeldy. First series. And he directs his team to a first down. Bridges goes in motion. Here's the pitch back. Paul Thibodeau. He fights for some tough going. Maybe 1 or 2 yards on the short side of the field.
Cyclones all year have run a lot of plays to the short side, whether it's right or left. They haven't favored the right side or the left side. They have kind of picked on the short side of the field. But I think that with Glatfeldy, that they might utilize the wide side a little bit more. He has the speed that they would like in a quarterback.
2nd down and 9, a gain of 1. Tom Schuling in motion this time. Watch this. Glatfeldy keeps it, tucks it upfield, and he gets close to first down yardage. Across the 40 to the 39, and John Glatfeldy turns on the afterburner that everybody's been waiting to see. 1 carry and a 9-yard gain.
Of course, that's going to incite the local field. They'll love this. Local boy McFake outside, turns it up inside. Good move, gets stuck pretty good, keeps moving forward. Another look at it. Right there. Linebacker not even involved in the play, but that's good run by Glatfeldy.
Kevin Thompson makes the hit from the free safety spot. Glatfeldy again. Across the 35 to the 34, and all of a sudden the fans are coming alive. It's not whether or not you win the ball game down 49-3, but just great to see a budding star make his first appearance. John Glatfeldy, 2 carries, 15 yards now. 2nd down and 5 at the 34. And Iowa State, for the first and only time today, has been moving the football, moving the stakes. 2 consecutive first downs. Glatfeldy rolling out. What will he do? Oh, he slips down. That's going to hurt the stats somewhat. Maybe a busted play from the beginning. It looked like Glatfeldy wanted to throw it downfield, but instead of throwing it away, he'll suffer a loss.
Had 1 receiver downfield. Man in motion. Yep. Snap too quick, and Bridges right there really tripped over Glotfeldy, I think.
I think Eddie ran into his own running back. Third down and 10. The ball on the 39. Passing down in all sense of the word. Let's see if Glotfeldy can throw now. Maybe his first pass of his college career. Uh-oh. Handoff up the middle. And I think maybe a loose ball.
Oklahoma
Fumble.
came up with it.
Yep, fumble. Have to take another look at this one if we can see it.
Recovery by Frank Blevins, the linebacker. Watch the handoff. Oop.
Oh,
Well, he was going to pull that out and option it and hit the guy's arm as he went by. And the ball loose, and you see the Oklahoma players cover it.
Oklahoma takes over on their own 38-yard line, and turnovers now 2-1. Sooners still leading in that category. Charles Thompson, the quarterback for the Sooners. Handoff to the fullback, right up the middle. Tough going for Mike McKinley. Tackle made by Matthew Rayburn.
A lot of fellas in there that haven't played too much. John Claiborne also in the lineup for the Cyclones, junior out of Omaha Northwest.
Second down and 8. Thompson pulls it out, turns the corner, finds a hole, cuts back through the seam, and he's off to the races. Hauled down from behind by number 29, Tim Baker, the sophomore from Grundy Center, but a big gallop for Charles Thompson, all the way down to the 17.
Again, watch this offensive line work. See right there, there's just a real congestion. Thompson goes out, has one guy right there to beat. Now it's a foot race. Good pursuit by Tim Baker. Ran him down from behind. That may have surprised Thompson a little bit. Some Iowa boys that can move pretty good.
First and 10. Mitchell has the running room, and he has daylight to the end zone. Touchdown, Eric Mitchell. But we have a flag. Flag down around the 5-yard line, so we may have holding on Oklahoma.
There is a flag on the play.
And that's what happened. It'll come back.
The indication is holding against Oklahoma.
And number 27 is making a big scene out of it, but Mitchell, watch right here. Now it's over. 10-yard line. He's clear of everyone with that great speed. Oklahoma player Damon Stell was a little bit worked up. He went to the ground, and another Oklahoma player took him into the huddle and said, "Now just calm down, guy. It's 49-3. Don't get too worked up and get yourself expelled from the game."
Some other scores on this Saturday, October 3rd. Michigan State over Iowa, 19-14. And here's a big upset. North Carolina upset the Tigers of Auburn, 20-10. And Tennessee, a big winner over California, 38-12. And Montana really hammering UNI thus far today, but that one's not over yet. Here's the keeper by Thompson, and a great open field tackle, I believe, by number 63.
Mark Foley worked off the block, freshman out of Bedford, New Hampshire. New Hampshire. I've been around football here for a long time at Iowa State. I don't recall ever having a kid from New Hampshire play on the football team.
Second down and 9. Hand off to McKinley right up the middle. Down to about the 11, still short of the first down, and a good job by Iowa State clogging up the middle. Rayburg, and Doring.
Take a look at the Iowa State defensive work here. See Byrne there taking his man out of the play, but a lot of Iowa State players involved.
Michigan Wolverines back with a big win today. 49-0 over Wisconsin. Bo Schembechler was on the sidelines despite being hospitalized with a kidney stone attack earlier this week. And Charles Thompson got caught empty-handed there. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And gang tackle by the Cyclones for a loss.
That drew 9 players for the Cyclones. Fake up the middle, wants to go outside. And right there, he's in deep trouble. Deep trouble.
Vernon Foley.
Once again, Thompson. Some good players coming off the blocks, and the Iowa State players were there en masse.
4th and 7. Stell perched out wide to the right, and Thompson wants to go over the middle. Do they call it complete? It looked like he bobbled it when he fell down, but it is complete to Bernard Hall. Charles Vondra in on the coverage, but it is short of the first down, so Iowa State will take over. So the Cyclones hold, and the red and gold gets a round of applause from the fans. 6 minutes, 46 seconds left to play this afternoon. The Oklahoma Sooners leading 49-3, and let's take time out for some messages of interest.
Cash in the market is the name of the game. From Chicago Sun-Times and PWA. Get in on the action. Believe it when we say there's no quicker satisfaction. Playing is as easy as the money you win to do me.
To cash in on Cash in the Market, look for details in Sunday Sun-Times.
Get rich by the money, make money every day. Cash in the market. Chicago Sun-Times, PWA.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Messer, along with Chicago White Sox manager Jim Fregosi. Jim, what's coming up this week on Sox 87 Weekly, the Jim Fregosi Show?
Well, it's going to be a big week, Frank. We have General Manager Larry Himes with us, Personnel Administrator Danny Evans, and also it's that time of year. I'm going to make my picks for the playoff winners and the eventual World Series winners.
Well, that sounds very interesting, and we'll have it all for you right here, Monday at 6:30 on Sports Vision, Chicago's winners on cable.
A good look at Hilton Coliseum in the background, where Johnny Orr's basketball Cyclones play. Iowa State starting out 1st and 10 at their own 10-yard line. Freshman John Glotfeldy, the quarterback. And whistles all over the place. Had some motion along the line, and I believe it was Ben Mitchell pulling a little bit early. Illegal procedure.
Of course, this is something that'll come up with a quarterback. Glotfeldy has been running as the number 2 quarterback all week. Had a lot of repetitions in practice, but nevertheless, there's a different sound, maybe a slight different tempo to the cadence. See right there, Ben Mitchell made the big move.
So now Iowa State setting back even farther, back to the 5. 30-second or 25-second clock is down to 10, and Iowa State finally breaks the huddle. Glotfeldy will have to hurry. 6, 5, 4. Dave Benoit in motion. Glotfeldy gets it off, pitches it out, and a loss of 1. And there might have been a face mask there as a flag flies once again.
Call came from Clearway over on the far side.
Personal foul against Oklahoma. That'll be 15 yards, and that'll get Iowa State out of the hole, and it'll also give the Cyclones a first down. That'll put the ball up at the 20, and here's the explanation to Coach Switzer, and let's take another look.
Football's a tough sport. You watch the hit on the running back.
Oh, collared him.
And there is a sizable gentleman just to add to the pile.
First down, Iowa State at the 20. And the penalties now mounting up for the Sooners. 55 yards tacked on to them today, and 47 for Iowa State. 6 minutes, 29 seconds left to play. Eddie Bridges brings the play into John Glotfeldy from the sideline. Freshman John Glotfeldy Had one loss that really put a dent in his stats. Otherwise, he's had an admirable afternoon. Here's the play-action fake. Botfelli throwing long for Bridges and overthrows everyone out of bounds.
Schulding was just flat, wide open, dead down the middle.
I don't think John even saw him.
I think
went with the first man he saw, and that was it.
Went with the primary receiver, Eddie Bridges, down the sideline, but good look at the play, and you can get an idea that he was going to Bridges the entire way. See him look to the right side, not even a glance down the middle.
Second 10 for the Cyclones at their own 20.
Second and 10 at the 20. Bridges in motion now from right to left. Draw play. Edwin Jones fights for a tough yard. Fooled everybody except the man that made the tackle, and that was Adrian Cooper, the left defensive end. Edwin Jones is going to be a good one, George.
Yeah, he's a good-looking kid, and he was injured earlier during two-a-days, and I saw a couple of practices, maybe more than that, and all he did was run the stadium steps. And then when he kind of got well, and he's worked his way back in. They had him ready to play, I think, in the Tulane or the Iowa game, but they didn't use him for quite a while. And has developed. He's, I think, going to be a good one. They're quite high on him.
Third down and 9. Tom Schulding in motion. Roll out by Glatfelli, and he has nowhere to go, and he is smeared from behind. Caught by Adrian Cooper, and I think Oklahoma was looking pass all the way on that one. Sacked.
Rich Moore, the center, was coming out of the line of scrimmage to pick up the defensive end from that side to give Glatfelli a little bit of room, but too much speed by Oklahoma. Cyclones will kick it away.
Well, we have time today. I'd like to say thank you to Jack Smalling, who is our spotter again. Doing a respectable job. Room for improvement, though, right, Jack? Jack and I have coached a little baseball for a few years together. Glad to have you up here, Jack. Here's Johnston's punt, and it's fielded by Hall. Fair catch call for at the 46. Wait a minute. I believe we had Shannon Bowles punting there, the freshman from Chatham, Illinois. It was not Judge Johnston. So Shannon, another youngster, getting a little opportunity for playing time today. And there we are, up high on the scoreboard. Not much light in here, folks, but I guess you can see us. It's going to be first and 10 at the 46-yard line for the Sooners. 4 minutes, 36 seconds left to play in this one. And in all honesty, it has been a long afternoon. The Iowa State pom-pom squad. Dobson, the quarterback. Pitches it out to Stell, and Stell tries to turn the corner. Has about 4 yards, 5 yards, up to about the 41. Chad Weldon chases him out of bounds. Well, you know, year in and year out, George, we've both seen Oklahoma and we've both seen Nebraska and sort of know how Nebraska plays football. I can't recall a team as explosive as the 87 Sooners.
No, I just, looking at the offensive line, the size, looking at the speed that they have just about every place. I think it's going to be a good football game, but I haven't seen Nebraska yet, but I'd have to pick Oklahoma.
Eric Mitchell tripped up at about the line of scrimmage, and some good defensive play by Iowa State. And again, it's Mike Ernst, number 93, in there on the stop.
I think this is a situation, too, at Oklahoma where you have this many players this good. It makes the competition so great that it's just absolutely unbelievable.
And that streak is soon to expand to 13. Mike Ernst, the freshman that made the tackle that last time, hails from Preston, Iowa, homegrown product. A lot of Iowa players on the roster this year. Here's the handoff, I believe, to McKinley. And look at him carry Chad Welding for about 5 more. Talk about a strong fullback. That's what you want out of a fullback. Somebody that can not only hit the hole, but put a dent in it. Correction, it is not McKinley, but rather Eric Bross.
Put this guy in one of those tractor pulls. Watch this.
Oh, it is McKinley.
Keeps pecking away right there. Welding's got him. His legs are still moving. Got to stop the wheels. Clap the ankles together, they don't go anyplace.
Fumble snap. And I believe that Thompson fell on it and retains it for Oklahoma, but a flag flies on the field.
Official fumble the flag.
3 minutes, 25 seconds left to go. And I think it'll be procedure against Oklahoma. Let's take a look. Yep. Good thing about having a spotter that's a college football referee, you know. He always knows what the call is going to be.
Great help.
Now, tell me this, Jack. You always get them right up here. How come you make so many mistakes on the field? Bad eyes, huh? That's what all the coaches want to know. Penalties, 7 against Oklahoma. And now the question remains, as we've seen these gentlemen play football for about 3/4 of an afternoon, are the Sooners the #1 team in the nation, George?
Oh, I think so. From what I've seen, I haven't seen all of the teams play on television, but this is, it's just a continuation of what they did so well last year, and they have some new players that are just superb, that have filled in places.
Here's the option. Outside to Stell, and Stell the ball carrier inside the 5. You know, the good thing about this today, no serious injuries for either team.
Stop on the play by Marcus Robertson.
Marcus Robertson makes the tackle here.
When you watch this, it almost looks like slow motion, but it's because everybody is moving so fast. That big number 70 out in front of the block working on the defensive back. Stell turns the corner. Just great strength, great speed.
First and goal to go. Inside handoff, McKinley, touchdown. Mike McKinley, freshman fullback from Perryton, Texas. You know, Donnie Duncan had an interesting observation. He says, hey, you can't get speed in Iowa or up north. He said, you got to go down to Texas to get the speed. Is that true, George?
Well, you'll get some speed, but you don't have the population. Let's face it, Iowa is what, 3 million people? And you look around, Chicago has 9 million in the city. And you look at some of the other cities around, New Orleans, Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth. It's just reasonable to think that the more people there are, the more opportunity you'll have. Well, 56-3, 2:39 remaining in the game. We'll be back right after this.
Two minutes, 39 seconds left to play. Pretty good crowd here this afternoon. I don't think we've received the official attendance figure yet, but a good crowd on hand. Scoring drive for the Sooners. 5 plays, 45 yards, 203. McKinley with a 3-yard run. Iowa State has another opportunity to get their hands on the football right here. Eddie Bridges and Dennis Ross back deep to receive. Thompson to kick for Oklahoma. And the ball blows off the tee.
Just the short time he's been in there, I've been quite impressed with the way Glotfeld has handled himself. I think he's been well coached and really trained for this debut and to come out against the #1 team and play pretty much error-free football. There was a fumble. I think it was not a busted play, just a misplaced elbow. But I think he's handled himself well, and now who knows what the future may hold, because he's had his baptism of Big 8 football. I think he's going to be a good one.
I think it's going to be an interesting fight for the starting job next year between DeGennaro and Blackfellow. Dennis Ross takes it at the goal line, slips and slides out to about the 15. And the official attendance has been given to us now. 36,050 on hand today.
And I think next week you're going to see a full house here. There's a lot of people in Cedar Falls that are eager to get down here and take a look at what's going on. They'd like to see the UNI team play in this stadium. I think they have a good following.
First and 10 at the 15 for Iowa State. John Glotfelli is the quarterback. Edwin Jones and I believe Paul Thibodeau in there at the running backs. Busted play maybe, and Glotfelli is going to find out what it's like to be wrapped up by big Tom Backus, a defensive end from El Paso. Backus, only a freshman also, went to Coronado High School, 6'5", 220-pounder. I think there was just a miscue in the backfield there.
You know, one of the guys that they list, Bernard Hall, 6'2", running back, 6'2", 220-pound sophomore. I think they're training him as the heir apparent to Keith Jackson's spot at tight end, and he'll, you know, after another year, he'll be, instead of 220 at 6'5", he'll be 235, and by the time he's a senior, he'll be 245 as a tight end.
Hand off to Jones.
Jones, the ball carrier.
Gets maybe a yard or two. Marcus Lowe, number 92, makes the tackle.
Tackle by Marcus Lowe.
129 and counting.
1 yard gain on play.
Time for about 2 more plays, and this should do it.
20 for Iowa State.
Well, let's hope that Jim Walden got his wish and he escapes this game unscathed in the injury department. No serious injuries that we've seen. And all he wanted to do is get away and remain healthy. Scott Benson, I've just been told now, twisted his knee and might be a little doubtful.
Delay of game.
For the rest of, or at least next week, delay of game now being assessed against Iowa State. And I don't know if that would be intentional or not. They wanted to use all the time they possibly could, maybe. Jim Walden conferring there with Eddie Bridges. Walden sends the play, though. Barry, you got a great team, and we wish you the very best as representatives of the Big Eight. Bridges in motion.
Jones, the ball carrier.
Hand off to Jones up to about the 5-yard line. Clock's rolling again, and that may be the last play of the ball game. And they have not even reset the 25-second clock, so I think that might be it. Let's go State. Didn't happen today, but what the heck, there's 7 more ball games left this year, and I'm sure there's going to be some close ones right here at Cyclone Stadium and Jack Trice Field. This one is history, and as anticipated, the Oklahoma Sooners win a lopsided victory over the Iowa State Cyclones. Barry Switzer being congratulated by Jim Walden. They will meet again. And as the years go by, the numbers might be more equitable. Instead of 95 to 57, Jim Walden looks forward to the day that he'll have 95 players. 56-3, the final. We'll be back in a moment. Mark Matthew and George Turner back at Cyclone Stadium and Jack Trice Field. Final story today, 56-3, the Oklahoma Sooners over the Iowa State Cyclones. And joining us in the locker room right now is Iowa State head coach Jim Walden. Jim, you knew you weren't going to win this ball game. You talked about it for a whole week, and you came away from this game without any serious injuries. I think that was a big concern also, wasn't it?
Well, that was a great concern, and for that reason, we won a little bit of this ball game. One thing I didn't want to do is go out and play hard like we were going to try to do, and then get some people hurt, because as I said before, I hope the Iowa State fans will be eternally grateful for the fact that I don't try to deceive people, and neither do I try to deceive my players and try to have them watch films of Oklahoma and tell them some trumped-up deal like, well, if they have 18 fumbles and 9 pass interceptions, we'd have a chance to play equal. This is a great, great team, Mark, and we absolutely, because of our numbers, had no chance to win. But we wanted to win some individual things, and we wanted to get off the field without getting hurt.
Jim, today John Glatfeldt, he made his first appearance as a Cyclone, and I know you've spoken quite highly of him. Were you pleased with what you saw in his play?
Oh, I think so, especially when you consider that there had to be a pretty strong nervousness when you're getting your first chance against the best defensive team maybe in the United States and one of the best teams in the United States. But any little thing you do against a team that good, that is good, makes you feel a little more good about yourself, if I'm not overusing that word. And he ran a couple options real nice, but real good. Then he got a little flustered and came out from under the center once too quick, and we had a little turnover. But overall, George, I thought he handled himself okay, and certainly the experience